Boston, and the Stamey Cherryville Funeral Home on Dixie Street in Cherryville. Their staff is committed to providing your family with the highest quality care and service in your time of need. For more information, visit the websites at StameyTysongerFuneralHome.com and StameyCherryvilleFuneralHome.com, both giving you the gift of comfort for you and your family.
It's time to go to work at Triad Corrugated Metals in Lincoln. They're now hiring for manufacturing jobs, and they'll train. Just drop by their location at 108 Industrial Park in Lincoln. And with Triad Corrugated Metal Roofing, you buy direct, thus saving you money. See one of the largest selections of colors in North Carolina. That's Triad Corrugated Metal Roofing, 108 Industrial Park in Lincoln. For more information, call 980-429-2278.
And welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Hour with Kevin, Tom, Terry, and Zach. And yes, if you're watching online, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. I am frozen, unfortunately. Unfortunately, my camera isn't working today, so Kevin picked a picture of me that's kind of, oh, there we go. Now everybody can see me move, which I don't know if that's more of a blessing or a curse, to be honest with you.
The camera's trying to adjust to the light in there.
We'll go,
so
we'll go ahead with curse on that one.
Yeah. Let's go with curse.
Well, last week you told everybody you were crooked, so, here we are.
Just want to remind our listeners. That this chaos is brought to you by Shelby Heating and Air, 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com, for all your heating and air needs.
Man, I think we're going to have a nice, fun show today. We've got a lot of topics, actually. Touch on a little high school sports for a little bit. We've got NASCAR news. We've got golf news. We've got NBA, all kinds of fun stuff for that talk about. We've got NFL playoffs, of course, to go over all of our picks and all of that this week. We've also
I did pretty good. I got most of mine right.
No, you didn't. You got all of them right.
A little baseball
you
news,
did well.
and more. So it should be a fun and interesting show. Zach, we started off with this week was our first week of youth basketball for Zach and us, and as my assistant coach, Zach is officially undefeated as a coach now, so congratulations.
Why do you have to remind everybody that he's the assistant coach?
I was giving him credit for being undefeated. Last year's assistant coaches went like 2-10. This
assistant coach
is way better.
Assistant coach sits there, eats a bag of McDonald's, and pats everybody on the back. That's what the assistant coach has.
I give the kids high fives and tell him when to sub.
At that age, we're herding cats for the most part, aren't we, Zach?
And we lose our voice.
But we did pull off our first victory, so we are 1-0. What made it funny, Terry, or don't really care that much on some of this, but so the coach for the other team ran his mouth a little bit last week, And so you remember we talked in the draft, and my two best players didn't end up on my team. Well, he watched them scrimmage another team, and they whipped another team like 16-4 in the scrimmage. And I said, hey, Matt, don't you see why I might have pitched a field while one of those two little fellas on my team? And he goes, our team will kill them. I said, oh, really? I said, well, I know they're probably better than us. We're going to have some trouble with them. He said, oh, well, then we'll kill you too. And that's who we played first. And we win.
That's nice.
Our team played better.
Terry, Zach, did he give us a nice hard handshake?
No, he did not. He didn't want fist bump us. Our team played.
Well, I can imagine after y'all two are over there that y'all wasn't like throwing stuff off on him as this was happening.
No, we didn't say that.
Yeah, right.
So
He just went up with us.
our team played. Our team did really play really well. We had one kid on there that has never played before in organized ball, and he's a ball hawk. He was all over the place.
It's amazing. Like we talk, the instincts of kids. Whether some kids just are instinctually will go after the ball, will just be aggressive. We can't. Me and Zach can't get ours fired, light a firecracker, and ours enough to get them to move. And any of ours, and then this kid Mason had never played before. His final stats were 6 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 steals.
I hear you.
He was all over the place.
Terry,
and he's our point guard.
So he would contest. He was just a little. He's played. His dad said he wants to be the best at everything, no matter whatever we put, play, whatever. He just wants to win, be the best, and he's just got a motor. And, you ever just
he's got the thing that you can't teach.
You're just
what
like,
he's got.
Where's the wind up tool to make my son have a motor or something like? It's just nonstop. Zzz, he's going the whole time, but can't say enough about how now. We got to work on our shooting coach. One of our assistants got to work on our shooting, Zach.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's your fault or Jamar's or Matt's, but
it's always somebody else's
No,
fault.
we had so many wide open fast breaks that our kids were so wide open. They stop at the free throw line and fire it up instead of laying it up.
What age group is this now?
7 to 9.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, I know. Zach's had never seen one of the games before the 7 to 9 games.
They had a good time. My son got 3 rebounds, albeit 2 of them out of bounds.
Oh no, all 3 of them. Zach's boy had 3 rebounds of 3 turnovers, Terry. He got 3 rebounds and walked out of bounds under the goal.
He went after the ball.
I told him to go get the ball. I told him in the car, I said, son, you're a forward. Your job is to rebound the ball and give it to Mason.
And he rebounded the ball and walked out of bounds with it. But we do have a question because you two are experts in it's basically a administrative expert. Tom, you run the scoreboards, right?
I do.
So you're the one in charge of the horn, or someone else charges the horn?
I'm in charge of the horn.
Okay. If you hit the horn in the game, like an inadvertent horn, or if you really hit the horn and trying to get an attention, does that immediately stop the game, or is that a discretionary ref question, Terry?
You got to add a little bit more context to it.
I will. Yeah. I was trying to get the video loaded up. We'll ask in a little bit, but I'll tell you about it. I'll show it to you. It'll add to it, but I can describe to you later. So let's say there's a little bit more to it, which got us even more aggravated. But let's say, Terry, you know how the referee's about to inbound a play. Let's say there was a dead ball. So let's say it was an out of bounds ball, and let's say we had a 5-second call, right? Okay. So now we're switching up who's taking it out of bounds, right? So while we're doing this, I've called for a sub. As soon as our team got a 5-second call, I called sub. I've got 2 subs to the thing. Guy rings the horn. Well, the referee in the midst of this was waiting on the other team to come line up, and they never come lined up. So he slammed the ball down and started counting. So at the same time he slams the ball down, it when you do the replay, it's like this. So he slammed the ball down and started counting, and he says he never heard a horn. Me and the other ref and the guy hitting the horn were all standing there doing subs, and he was standing there doing this and subs. They pass it in with nobody under the goal, layup, score. They're up by 2 with like a minute to go.
I gotta see this.
Well, the thing is.
But either way, Terry, the question was: so we talked.
Sorry,
we
guys.
talked, and we all agreed. We all agreed that that's what happened. He said, "Okay, that's what happened." And then you know what he said? Play happened. I can't change it. Basket good.
He can do that. I mean, it's his option.
I was like, so
he
all
can
agreed.
Stop it.
That was the last play. We all agreed what happened. It was a misplay. And he goes, That's good. Oh.
Luckily, our kids go down, hit a shot, and get fouled, and hit a free throw.
Typically.
So I didn't know the actual rule. Like, if you hit that buzzer, it's dead.
Typically, if that happens, so I'm the referee, and once I hand the ball to the person or put the ball down in that
it's
context,
in play, right?
It's in play.
Okay.
Now, say that I honk the horn. He's probably going to turn around to me and give me that look, like, are you drunk or sober? and then he's going to take the ball back. And then if, like, say Kevin said, well, I want to sub now. He's going to say, no, you're not going to sub now. That was an inadvertent horn, and that doesn't give you the opportunity to sub.
Both
takes the ball back.
Both teams
and then
are already subbing. So the other referee, Terry, had basically administered it. You know what I mean? He heard the horn.
Does he have his hand up for the people to come in?
I'm not 100% sure. He's standing right next to me.
The ref screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean, he screwed up.
But now the whole deal is this.
That's what I'm saying. We all agreed what happened, and then they still said basket good.
Because if he's over there, and you have to understand, if he is in the point of him standing there for so long, and then he finally just puts the ball down, then he's wondering how come you haven't subbed before. What's been the problem with you getting people in?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So I don't know. Apparently he couldn't hear much because he said he didn't hear the horn. I'm like,
he heard the horn.
He heard the horn. He heard the horn.
So that's what he said. But he goes, well, the guy at the table was supposed to administer that. I was like, oh, whatever. So anyway, I didn't know the exact. I've never had an inadvertent horn. I've had inadvertent whistles, but it wasn't an inadvertent horn. It was an actual subs. Both teams had two players come up the court at half court, right, Terry?
Yeah.
Because we're all sitting there in a big mumble jumble. And then, but
I
what
think
happened
the biggest thing that people have to understand is when this is happening, sometimes you'll have kids just run out on the court, and when you tell them to go sub, they won't go to the.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they'll just take off and run off on the court.
But my question is, without all that, I don't care about all that. Whatever. All that happened. I was just worried about what was the actual. Tom, has you ever had that situation where you hit a horn and the referee's like either didn't hear it or does that immediately stop the play or what?
You got to remember, Kevin. Okay,
yes.
You're in junior leagues here.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a trained referee, I mean, you can tell the ones that do it right. It's just like on a timeout. There's a protocol.
Yeah.
Timeout, coach. 30-second timeout. Start your clock, and they point at you like there's a protocol. So the protocol is, if I'm a ref and I'm going to inbounds the ball, I have the ball in my hand. I'm going to look over my shoulder. No sub there. No sub there. There's the basketball. Now, then what coaches try to do in high school is they try to run a guy up there last minute.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
So you as the timekeeper are supposed to one eye there, one eye there. Now, if he hands the ball and then there goes the horn, the ref's going to take the ball back. The proper protocol is give me the ball back. Okay. Give me the ball back. No, you cannot sub. Coach, next dead ball, you're going to sub. And then they look at you and say, do not do that again.
Exactly.
And then they're going to hand the ball.
Yeah. But most of the time when that happens with us, we walk over and tell the person keeping the clock.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Just make sure. And then they'll do it. Now, what your guy did was his wife yelled at him before he got to the game. And he didn't feel like listening to you, so he slams the ball down because he's ready to go eat his Chick-fil-A after the game. I mean,
not necessarily that, Tom.
Terry,
he's standing there that long, now you have to be a ref. If you're standing there that long and you have to finally take the ball and put it down, then something's never happened.
But I've seen a lot of refs too. I mean, that ball goes out of bounds, and you've seen it too, Terry. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're like, "You here," and hand the ball. I mean, you can't.
This is not that game.
This
is the other one. I'm waiting on the other.
My God, we got the coaches out on the. Get back over in your corner.
But you can't. You have to look as a referee. You have to look over there. But you got to remember, these guys are making $20 a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you act like they've been through. What's that? Whatever they're making. I mean, even junior varsity referees. I was trained.
I was just wanting to know, was there an actual rule? Or
I'll be honest with you.
What do y'all usually do?
If you do not, and you believe this, go watch JV games and then watch varsity games.
It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. Them ones in JV,
they're mechanics. They're mechanics.
Well, and the plus,
are you talking about the
early,
referee?
Yeah,
okay.
The clock runs. So they're not going to stop the clock,
Yeah.
and they're just like whatever. And half of them's got their whistle in their mouth, chewing on it while everything's going on. But I mean, and they're not going to call half the stuff that you're going to see in the varsity.
Yeah,
I mean that's all it is. And just like you're supposed to tell them when to start the clock on a timeout, and a lot of them don't do that. Now, you can tell the ones that have been to college camps because they're all into it, right? 30-second timeout, start the clock. You know, they're just they're all into it. You know, but it does it does help. You know what I mean? It does help when you've got a guy with good mechanics and good communication. And you know, you got your junior league refs. I mean, a lot of them probably had a couple of clinics, couple of Saturdays, mainly drinking beer, talking a little bit about a few rules, and then you wonder why stuff like this happens. I mean, everybody expects like these junior league refs, they should be just as good as the NCAA and the pro guys. It's like, no, they're junior league refs.
You're not getting paid much.
Yeah, you're not getting paid
Tom's
much.
ripping the junior league refs.
No, I'm not ripping the junior league refs.
State the fact.
I'm not ripping the junior league refs.
Does it just actually stop the play? Did I have any type of argument? Was
everyone else? I think it was all on the ref. I do. He could have gave it to you or not give it.
He goes to these things trying to nitpick these refs and then brings it to the show.
Time. Terry.
Brings it to the show.
Terry, without him saying anything, let's see if I can get through this.
Okay.
Terry, he calls me nitpicking. It's a tie ball game, and the referee gave the ball to the other team and allowed them to shoot with only one player on that side of the court and scored, and then said he did not hear a horn. And I'm just supposed to say, you know what, Tom? He's probably drunk and wants to go see his wife tonight. Yeah. That's what he gets a fact.
He had a sweater vest in the car.
It's a fact. I'm just telling you.
This might be the call I question, Tom. Hey, guys,
the only
nobody
thing
else
that
in the room hear the horn.
It's a 7 and 9-year-old
It's
game.
how long.
They don't know. Those kids don't know if they won 5 minutes after the game.
They do. Some of them, most of them do. 7 through 9 they do.
Let's go to Chick-fil-A.
7 through 9 they do.
Luckily, it all got worked out. We came down and we actually scored, and we got a foul. And we scored again, and we wound up winning by 2.
We'll show that highlight later. This is the older team. Do what, Terry?
What is this replayed from a minute ago?
No, this is the older team. You want to go back and watch? You want to see a play you just saw?
Well, I just saw a play. I was
you want to go back?
No, well,
this is the tip.
Okay, let's go from the tip because this big guy, he gets it and he's already like, hey, I've got this guy.
So this is Dustin Moorhead's son over at Kings Mountain, and that's his daughter behind him. I mean,
she's a good ball player.
She's got nice handle. I think
she's a good ball player.
Middle school, good ball players, great kids. I went to school with Dustin's wife, Erin, as well. I want to real quick though mention Terry right here. You see the young lady at the jump ball?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna know her name one day. That's right now. She can make varsity. I would say every girls team in the area right now. She's 11 years old.
She's not gonna play varsity at 11.
Tom, I said she would make varsity at Terry.
That's what you said. I remember what you said.
I mean, right. It's like 2 seconds ago. Tom, she could make, she's my height. First of all, Terry, how many girls are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" on the varsity?
No.
How many of them can dribble and rebound on the varsity at 5'8", 5'9", 5'10"? And how many of them hustle after every ball? Tom, you want to know her stats? She had 14 points. I mean, not points. She had 8 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals, 3 assists.
Draymond Green.
No, she actually had a double in one of her stats.
Yeah. That wasn't a quadruple single, Terry. She had 14 boards.
I'm just going to remain silent for the rest of this segment.
All I'm saying is, one day you're gonna hear her name, Zayana Crawford, young lady. She's fantastic. Hey, before the game, Terry, we're in the basement. We're talking, getting strategy, and the young lady also she come out. Zach, you'll be proud of her. She said, "Guys, you know what? Before the game, I want to lead the team in prayer."
Boom.
And Zayana led the team in prayer. Now, it was a funny prayer if you've ever heard an 11-year-old pray. But,
is that Austin score there?
No, Austin did not score.
Okay.
We're the yellow team.
Good call.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good call. My son wasn't in the right spot. We'll talk about that in the break. I'm not ripping my son.
No, you're right.
I'm not ripping my son right now. Antoine stepped out of bounds. He didn't know what he was supposed to do because he never practiced that because someone else was supposed to be there. But anyway, watch this rebounding go. Holler.
There she goes. She's
Holler.
She's up and down the court, man. She is something else.
She bricked it, but
she's fast.
Now look who's the first one back, Terry. She got back first.
Well, don't get
I
all
almost blocked the shot.
Underneath
contested it. Get it back to Zay. Now watch her. She's gonna beat everybody else down the court.
Now I hope in y'all's game. Look at this.
Now watch. She's going to beat everybody else down the court.
I'd have done passed out by now.
She's such an athlete. I mean, Zay's such an athlete. I love her to death. But like
The girl out there shot. She's a pretty good ball player too.
So we had an issue in this game, Terry. We're going to get to it here in a second. My number one draft pick, Terry, scored more points for the other team than my team. Tom, did you hear that?
Well,
Yeah, but I
didn't
know if I was allowed to comment.
My number one draft pick scored more points for the other team than my team. Yeah, we got beat by 5. Terry got a wrong basket score. We switched sides during warm-ups, and then it was so there she goes with the basketball and just outruns everybody. But yeah, great pass, gets the assist. Maddox Monaco with the score. That little boy's going to be a pretty good athlete. He's just really young. Really, I think he's only like 10 or something like that. He's fast.
Y'all anyway, holler, go, 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 go every time they rebound, dude.
I tell my son, go to the 3.
There's
spots on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Number 3s. I said, get to the 3, son. Get to the 3.
So it depends. So if the yellow team's supposed to be running a play, they're supposed to be running the Carolina secondary break, but Zay just outruns everybody. And she does try to find people, and like that one, she should have kept it. And anyway, the young ones though, Terry, we got 3 that can dribble real good, so everyone else gets it. They just don't go. They find the point guard and go. But if Zay gets it, she's got the green light to go. 2 or 3 of them's got the green light to go. The rest of them's supposed to find the point guard. But these are my Sonics. Wanted to point them out. They played hard. We a lot of them's first game. I'm just going to say that. A lot of mental. He stepped out of
that, didn't he?
He stepped out of bounds before he hit that, so it didn't count.
Yeah, look, that heartbreak.
But yeah, fun basketball. Anyway, all right, Tom. Your Bulldogs last night, and Terry, they. What was you saying about that earlier? I'm sorry.
Oh, about Cleveland?
No, him about the Bulldogs and Shelby basketball last night.
Oh, I mean, it was a close game for a lot of it. I mean, Shelby ended the end of the second and the end of the third quarter was the difference. Burns got it to within 1 with 15 seconds left to go in the first quarter after they were down 10. And then Shelby gets a 2, gets a steal, gets a 3. Then it's a 6-point game. Then they came out in the third quarter, and they ended up going on like a 14-0 run. And it looked like they're going to blow them out of the gym, right? And back came Burns. I mean, Kamar Surratt, I think, had 17 points, kept him in it. The Lee kid had 22. That Lee kid's bigger. That Lee kid's bigger than you think he is.
How tall is he?
He got to be
6'4".
I went up to him after. I went up to him after the game.
He looks bigger than football pass.
Yeah, when I walk up to him, I got to look up a little bit at him. He's probably 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he's pretty tall. He just killed him down low. I mean, killed him down low on the offensive glass too. But bigger story. Looks like Burns is going to get blown out. Then they make another run. They hit a couple threes. They get it back down to the 3 or 4 before the third quarter ends, and then they have another meltdown right before the quarter. They give up another 5, 6 straight points, and it ends up being like instead of 3 or 4, it's 7 or 8. And then Burns would get within they get within 5, they get within 4, and then Shelby hit a couple baskets. Could never really make that. Could never get the possession where if we score, we take the lead. So, I mean, good game. Burns is in it the whole time. I think Shelby does a good job of changing their defenses too, because they'll go to a matchup zone and they'll let you relax, and then all of a sudden, boom, here they come, tight man-to-man, backcourt trap. Then they'll back out of it. You know what I mean? And then go back to it.
Keep them thinking all the time.
And I think that the better teams do that. They'll change their looks and catch you off guard. That's what happened at the beginning of the third quarter. Shelby stayed they ran a little bit of backcourt pressure, but they stayed in a kind of a matchup zone. Then all of a sudden in the third quarter, boom, there they are, full court press, man-to-man, all the way. And they got 3 or 4 turnovers, and that's where they stretched the lead out. So I give Shelby a little credit for keeping Burns just enough off balance. Burns, no Jeremiah Norris last night, so they were a little bit shorthanded, but Surratt kept him in it. And Lamont Wilson hit a couple big threes here or there, to keep him in it. But, Burns against the big boys has not fared very well yet. East Gaston clobbered them last week. They didn't play very well against Bessemer City. Played in spots. Well, I'm sure if Coach Phillips was here, there were times he was very proud of them. Times were like, I think they had like 16 or 17 turnovers. So there was good and bad in that game. But this one was the first one where they're really competitive against one of the, if you look, East Gaston, Shelby, Bessemer City. Then you've got Burns in that conference. And then you got, Highland Tech's, struggling a little bit. And so was Thomas Jefferson, the other folks in that conference. So we'll see. I mean, they'll get another crack at Bessemer City. They're going to get another crack at East Gaston. They'll get another crack at Shelby. So we'll see how they do.
Was it home at Shelby or home at Burns?
It was at Burns.
It was at Burns.
It was at Burns. Well, we had internet reception, so it's at Burns. It's kind of funny. It's like we have better reception at Burns than we do Shelby. But good game. Brent and I really we enjoyed the game. It was a good atmosphere too. Had a good crowd there, and they were into it. And the fan section's going back and forth and all this. So a good atmosphere for high school basketball. Just I think Coach Phillips has got that team going in the right direction, and I think he's doing a good job. 8-8 on the year, got a chance for a playoff, so we'll see how it goes down the stretch.
All right, we come back. We're going to talk NASCAR and Greg Norman's new LIV tour. Got a new TV deal and more on KTCBroadcasting.com.
They are there when you need them. We're talking about Shelby Heated and Air, where their customers come first. Remember the cold 10 below degree temperatures during the Christmas weekend? Well, Shelby Heated and Air made over 70 calls to help keep folks warm during Christmas. And they'll do the same for you. Ask about up to $750 in rebates on select products, along with their safety furnace checkup for just $99. Shelby Heated and Air, 704-487-7877. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too. They're there when you need them. Plumbing problems? Well, if you're not an expert plumber, then we invite you to call the Expert Plumbers. That's Olmsted Plumbing in Forest City. Just call 828-245-7302. Recommended since 1973. From faucets to sinks to toilets, from sewer and drains to well pumps, from dishwashers to disposals to bathroom remodeling, residential and commercial, new homes too. Don't let your plumbing problems drive you plumb crazy. Call Olmsted Plumbing in Forest City, 828-245-7302, or visit the website at olmstedplumbing.com. Start up the savings on your auto insurance with a stop at Turner Hauser Insurance Group in downtown Lincoln, your area insurance agency. Jamie Hauser invites you to stop in and find out how you can save money on all of your insurance needs, from home to auto to commercial to farm to life. Visit them at their office at 228 East Main Street, downtown Lincoln. Just look for the big blue awning. That's Turner Hauser Insurance Group, your area insurance agency. Call 704-732-9577 or visit the website at turnerhauserins.com. You may wonder what makes us different here at First Federal Savings Bank. We have been intertwined with this community for over 80 years. Here at First Federal Savings Bank, we take pride in Lincoln County, and that's why you see us donating time and resources to local charities and the schools in our community. Being a hometown bank is more than just a saying for us. It's about action and impact in the community in such a way that present and future generations are proud to call Lincoln County home. Stop in and see us here at First Federal Savings Bank today. Equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Join us for our live Sunday morning church services at 9:30 a.m. on WCSL. It's a live church service from Anthony Grove Baptist Church in Krause. And at 11 a.m. on WCSL, it's a live church service from First Baptist Church in Cherryville. And at 11 a.m. on WHS, it's a live church service of the Calvary Baptist Church in Shelby. With CF Moto, you have the power to conquer more. From rocky creek beds to colossal mud pits to wooded mountainsides, CF Moto high-performance vehicles rip through the toughest terrain with ease. Outfitted with custom-designed liquid-cooled four-stroke engines and an unmatched assortment of standard features, the CF Moto ATVs and side-by-sides do more than crush trailheads. Whether you're looking for the ultimate adrenaline rush or a heavy-duty machine, you can take on anything with CF Moto. Available at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Laurel.
Thanks for help bringing the economy back, one local purchase at a time.
Kind of uplifts you and you feel better.
It's the greatest comeback of all time.
Shop local with whatsupshopper.com, Carolina Country, and The Boss.
That skilled right now.
And we're back on
Fast.
Saturday
That
Morning
was
Sports
just
Talk with Kevin
fast.
and the gang. They were talking about his kids playing basketball.
You don't know what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I do.
You have
I
no
saw-
idea
I can
what
see
we
the
were talking
video playing on
You
the
can see,
thing.
just because you see a video playing, don't mean we're talking.
Just
Well, I know, but I mean, even when you came back, you were saying something about it. I mean, it was just a guess. I look like I'm in heaven
it was a good guess. Give him some
on the
credit.
camera.
Shelby
Well,
Heating and
yeah,
Air.
shut the hell up.
Okay. Shelby Heating and Air bringing you Saturday morning sports talk. Shelby Heating and Air. Give them a call, 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com.
All right, guys. The Terry, we'll do this first. LIV Tour has a new television deal. So, and the reason I want to talk a little bit about this is I was listening to. So we have a golf show here on KTC broadcast. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to it yourselves or got to catch it. And I was listening to it the other day. Matt Blanchard. We're going to get him on the show one morning and call in and talk about a lot of this stuff. But Matt used to be that works with us. He used to be a caddy on the PGA Tour. So they're some goofballs. I'll say listen to them a little bit. They're kind of fun. And but anyway, they were talking about this and you know they argued about everything. Sounds like us arguing about the reasons. And at the end of the very last thing Matt said, or no, one of them said goes, "Well, it is all about the money." And this Matt's like, "Yeah, you're right, probably." So they talked about 5 minutes about it. In the last sentence, they finally nailed it because they were like, "Why would Greg do this? Or why would they do this?" And then at the end of the day, guys, they're getting paid a lot of money to play golf, to play less golf, and so they're going to the CW, which I'm gonna read this. That it's bigger than, apparently they've got more subscribers or viewers than ESPN does. So that's where the LIV Tour is going. So let's see a little bit about it. What it says: LIV will not be paying for the airtime. I'm gonna pull this up for Tom. Internet. What am I doing here? Trying to find the stupid thing. All right, there we go. All right, so LIV Tour. LIV will not be paying for airtime, so it'll be it's not them paying for it. It's an actual television deal. I don't know why that was. People were questioning. I guess they were questioning the Saudis' money on that, Tom. Maybe.
Probably.
Streaming will carry early round broadcast. Will be streaming. So if you don't remember, it's a 54-hole tournament. And if people that didn't know what LIV means, that's 54. Did y'all know that?
Okay.
Was y'all keeping up with that? Streaming will carry early round broadcast. Let's see, Thursday and Friday on the CW app online. So you'll be able to watch that on your phones and everything else in this world. It says that's disappointing news for golf fans. Like, nobody's got a phone and tablets and computers anymore. Most people, Tom, on Thursday are sitting next watching your 65-inch screen. It's 65-inch screen TV like Terry and watching golf on Fridays at noon. So most people are watching on their apps.
I'm trying to figure out. It's 54 holes, right?
Yep.
And it starts on Thursday.
Yes.
So it's over on Saturday.
Yes.
Because Muslims go to church on Sunday.
That's not the reason, but that was a great guess. But,
no, that was sarcasm, sir. That would be sarcasm. Just in case you didn't pick up on it.
I just think you put yourself in a tough hole on Saturday competing with other stuff.
Terry, what are you doing Saturday in April?
Do what?
What are you doing Saturdays in April?
He's in here.
Yeah, I'm in
baseball.
here. And then got baseball, softball.
Okay. So there's no NFL. There's
but am I going to go home and flip to golf?
If you're at home and watching TV,
probably not.
What are you going to watch then?
Baseball. Sundays is
what baseball?
I mean, you know
Saturday.
what I'm saying? I
Saturday
know that's
afternoon.
what I'm saying.
What do you watch? What baseball you watch? You're a
Sunday.
Kansas City Royals fan. They're not coming on in this area. You got the the package.
There you go.
So you're going to pay to watch the Royals go 50
on a 65-inch TV.
Well, their package.
As opposed to, let's see what Dustin Johnson's doing. Let's see. Charles Barkley is working on a deal. They've got Faraday and the other guy that's kind of funny. They were
you know what? Maybe they just don't want to compete with the other one on Sunday because they know more people will watch them than watch the
Terry,
LIV.
what point are you not getting?
That's the point I'm getting.
I know, but you're making a point that's irrelevant.
Well, I'm telling you the truth.
But they don't care what you're saying is what you're saying.
I don't care whether they care what I'm saying or not. I have my opinion. I don't care what their opinion is.
So this is just, I want to show you right here. I'm Dustin Johnson, right? You're worried about my feelings that I'm not going to compete on Sunday, and I have $10 million.
Okay, good for you, buddy.
You see what I mean? I played 3 rounds, made $10 million. If I play on the PGA, I play 4 rounds and make $1 million. I don't care about you watching TV on Sunday.
But there's a lot more. And how would I put this? The LIV just come along. You have to establish yourself. There's nothing like the PGA Tour that you can win a Masters, that you can win the U.S.
They're
Open.
playing in the Masters.
But
they're not
just
competing
saying.
like head to head with the majors. They're competing with the Hooters Pro-Am International Saturday afternoon, when the ones that Tiger Woods has never played before. Those weekends, that's what they're doing. With the weekends where nobody's watching. Hey, here's our stars. Here's on Saturday. They're not competing with the Masters. Those guys are playing in the Masters.
Are they still talking about kicking them off the PGA Tour?
Well,
if they do
I
that?
mean,
They can't play in the PGA Championship,
many-
but the PGA doesn't control the U.S. Open. PGA does not control the British Open, and they don't control the Masters. All these players can play in 3 of them.
I'm just trying to coverage as a regular guy who goes plays golf or girl who goes plays golf. They're going to do it on Saturday. They're not going to wait on a Sunday, because then, most people who are family life say, you know what, Sundays when we go to church, then we go out to eat, we go do this. No, I mean, they do, but more people would play on a Saturday at their local golf course or wherever than on a Sunday. I mean, that's what I'm looking at.
I think the bigger thing is, okay, we're trying to make a little money. We're going to pay guys a lot of money to play golf, and people are going to question it because it's Saudi money, and the Saudis have done, shall we say, a few things that may be a little unscrupulous. I would just put it to you like that. Do they kill journalists? Do they harbor people who knocked down our buildings on 9/11? Things like that. So yeah, that's why the issue. I mean, but what Kevin says is just pure capitalism. Who cares where the money comes from? You're getting paid. I'm making more money than you, and at the end of the day, that's the biggest incentive. So, what matters more, principle or cash?
It's the same thing. It's happening even with the WWE. They're rumored to be selling to the Saudis and WWE. So the Saudis are putting up some big money to get some sports.
Yep, they're putting up big money, and even though that their morals are questionable,
right,
they got money, and people like money. I mean, that's kind of what way capitalism works.
All right, let's talk a little NASCAR. Terry, you had a visitor this week at West Lincoln, did you not?
did.
We'll talk a little bit about what. Now, yeah, I got questions. Go ahead, Terry.
What's that? Okay, well,
I've got questions.
Okay, Matty D come up to our place.
Matty D, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm glad he come. Anybody hadn't ever heard his testimony, it's a great thing to listen to, of how his up and rise in NASCAR and Truck Series, Xfinity, whatever, has went up and down, and he's lost everything. I mean, his parents gave up everything, and they moved out to California when he first started, and finally ended up where it was costing too much money for them, and had to go to him and tell him that, hey, buddy, we just cannot continue to do this. And all of a sudden, everything's pulled out from under him, and he says, you know what, this is where I still want to be. This is what I want to do. So he ended up going with Joe Gibbs, and everybody thought, hey, this is great, but, really couldn't make it there, and everything got pulled out from under him again. But in his whole story, he's talking about how he come, to become a Christian and everything else, and everybody else does their thing. But he's a great guy to listen to, because the ups and downs of his life, and he goes back to Bristol and talks about when he was trying to win a race for the first time, and he said they built me a rocket ship, and I got out there, and I'm a half a lap ahead of everybody. And he said, and I think the greatest part about it is when he got to this point, because he said, I never really understood how other people felt about me as a person. But he said, I'm a half a lap ahead of everybody. And he says, guess what? Ryan Newman's in front of me, and I either have to pass him because the person's in second place is going to gain speed on me, he said, or I can stay behind him. And he said, these last 60 laps are going to take forever, and I'm going to get called, and then it's going to be one heck of a finish between me and the guy that's in second. And he says, I kept tempting him, and I'd bump him up a little bit, and I'd come back down. He'd block me off, and I'd bump him, and he'd come back down and block me off. He said, finally I went for it. He said, guess what? Ryan Newman put me in the wall. And he says, he says, all of that, he says, at that point in time, I hated Ryan Newman. Didn't ever want to see that guy. He said, I didn't even want to talk to him after the race on account of what had just happened. But he says when it was all over, said and done in that race, said he was around, and he said he got out of his car. He finished second. Denny Hamlin passed him on the last lap to win it. And he said that he got out of his car, and he said he's sitting there, and he says, I'm all in a ball of shame. He said, basically about crying. He said, because I'm like, every time I have a chance to win a race, something happens to me, or I've seen so many ups and downs in my life that I never think that I'd be able to do this. And it was a great thing because he said all of a sudden, he said, everybody starts cheering. And he's like, who in the world are they cheering at? And he said, it finally got my attention. He said, I finally looked up at the big screen, and it's me. He said, everybody's cheering for me. Of everything that I've been through in my life, more people were on my side then than what I thought, and he says, I went away from that race, and he said, I thought, my career's over. He says, every time I have a chance, and he says, you would not believe, he says, the next week, he says, I'm on the Temptation, this being my last race coming up. And he said he always liked Bristol at nighttime, when you have all the lights and the cameras and everything on you. And he said, Penske called me the next week and gave him something that he could live for, and that it gave him a chance. But he's a great person just to bring him to your place. And you can, yep, there he is with me at West Lincoln and when he come in. But just his overall story, if nobody's never heard it, I mean, it took him probably about 45 minutes to tell his whole story. But it's just a fantastic person for anybody to listen to, of how he's been up and down and didn't think that NASCAR would be his things, but now he's got a long-term deal for the Truck Series, etc. But anybody has a chance to talk to this young man, get him to come to your place, do it. It's worth every bit of it.
I did have one question. Did you, were you a Matt D. Benedetto fan?
No.
I didn't think.
No, I know, but I mean,
I thought I remember in
the
the past you saying something.
No, but I will say this.
But
no, I never was against him. It's just that when I look at him, I remember how everybody that is in NASCAR likes him.
Yeah.
For what he's been through, what he's done, and how his careers went up and down, and they always hoping he would get a ride. I mean, that's the main thing. You got to get a ride, because he told one part about him and Ross Chastain, bidding for a ride. And he said Ross Chastain ended up getting a ride in front of him. And he said his big thing come when Paul Menard was at Penske. Paul Menard mentioned him. Said, if you're going to go get somebody, I'm getting ready to retire. He says, y'all go get this guy. He's a good guy, and Penske went to get him, and he says, but it's a great story of how he says he got there, but it was somebody giving up something for him to open up a spot for him to take,
I really seriously, racing's got to figure out a different way to get to do their funding. Some type of sharing.
It's $75,000 a weekend, not counting everything that you do for a car and all this stuff, just to get you in a truck race.
Mm-hmm.
$75,000. He said, you said that's why you got to have sponsors. He said, if you don't have sponsors, he said that's $75,000 out of your pocket. Money.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
For a truck race.
That's what I'm saying. As far as like, at some point, you would think that NASCAR should maybe find like a partner, a rich partner. Let's say not someone like a Saudi with billions of dollars or something that could purchase half of it to be able to fund, and to where you have to till the sponsorships goes to the whole sport and they share it within the whole sport, as opposed to, or some type of rotate. They've got to do something, is what I'm saying, as opposed where you got Jimmy Johnson or someone being forced out, or however you want to view that, or Kurt Busch or any of these being forced out based on a sponsor, when you got better drivers, the better drivers have been able to be driving in the sport because of it. It's just basically who's got money.
Yeah.
And that's a hard sport. Like, Terry, how do you tell all the kids in the stands, and that's what's hard about NASCAR, that want to be drivers? Well, I'm sorry, son, we'll never have enough money for you to be a driver. You could be a crew man one day. You might be the best driver in the world, might be over sitting there changing tires, and we don't even know it.
This young man,
well,
as he was growing up,
a little bit smaller.
Yeah, as he was growing up from age 12 all the way up, even when he was 16, he said he was hanging around NASCAR pits
Yeah.
Just trying to have somebody, hey, look at me, give me a chance, you know. And one of the biggest things that he told, he said he had a chance one time, and this is, matter of fact, at Talladega. And he said he was down there, and he's getting ready to go in, and he's going to have a chance. He said there's 3 guys on this crew team, and 2 of them have already qualified. Their wraps were good. He says, and I'm sitting there, and he says, I've been through all this in my life, and he says, I go out to get in my car, I've got 1 hour. He says, you got to get out there in 1 hour. He says, if not, then you cannot qualify. And he says, I'm sitting there, I put my key in, turn the ignition, guess what? My car don't stop. He said, I'm just sitting there. Like, what in the world? I mean, he says, then all kind of things are going through your head, like, I've only got 1 hour to do this. You know, and he says, everybody's over there working on. He said, working on 30 minutes have went by, 45 minutes have went by. He says, I'm sitting there, y'all. And he says, finally, they get it cranked. Guess how much time I got? 2 minutes before the time is up. He says, when I hit the track, he says, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait about having my second lap because I don't know how much time I really had left. And he says, I get on the track and I just go full board. Around the track I go as hard as I can go. And he says, when I pull back in, he says, I come in, I get out. And he says, nobody's saying nothing to me. He's like, darn. He says, I failed, you know. And he says, I get out of my car and I'm looking. He says, I'm looking for my crew chief. I'm looking for my guys. He said, finally, I walk over to him and I said, how'd I do? The guy looks at me and said, your lap was faster than the other 2 guys on our team. You just made the race. And he says, you know, he says, you talking about pushing it to the limit. He said, but God gave him a chance. He said, I had 2 minutes.
Now, did he drive faster than the track, or did he drive faster on the track that day? Which track was it? He's mentioned that part.
No, I mean, you know, but I mean,
all right, Zach. Guys, this is NASCAR drivers naming their favorite driver of all time. Okay, some of these guys I'm not going to know off the face. They don't have their name listed as they're talking, so I'm going to do my best. Zach, if you'll hit computer. Oh, never mind. Hit that. Turn that off for just a second. I got to mute something else for a second. So give me 1 second on that. So this is going to be the NASCAR drivers doing their favorite driver of all time. Now, some of these you can only imagine what they're about to say. Let's see. All right, Zach, go ahead and hit it now.
Your favorite NASCAR driver?
Huh. Besides myself? Probably my buddy Kyle Larson.
Jeff Gordon. My dad. Junior. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
So that was Chase Elliott that said his dad, Bubba Wallace that said Dale Jr. Terry, who's this one? Do you know? Fast enough.
Probably Rusty Wallace.
Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. It's hard to pick between the 2 of them.
That was Kyle Larson that said Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. Terry, you want to predict what Joey Logano says?
Should say Dale Earnhardt Jr.
You think that's what he's going to say?
No, I know he shouldn't.
Mark Martin.
He said myself.
Growing up. Favorite NASCAR driver.
Watch him, Terry.
Growing up.
Let's go back to him.
Stewart
That's bad.
Kevin. Myself.
God.
Myself.
Come on.
Myself.
Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, and Kevin.
Now people know why I do not like this guy.
Favorite NASCAR
He's
driver.
going to be the only one on this list, though, with
I've
multiple
always been a big
championships.
Tony fan, and ironically now he's my boss.
I would say Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart.
Probably Mark Martin, just because he was my dad's buddy. So that's really all I got.
Brad Keselowski, and then me.
Grew up really, admiring Jimmy Johnson and what he was doing.
Me. I'm the best.
Dale Earnhardt.
That was Alex Bowman. And remember, Alex refused to give up the 48. They was actually trying to negotiate it, and he wouldn't give it back to or
I understand
they
believing in yourself. I'm with that. I mean, if you're doing performing or whatever, whether it's singing, racing, whatever you're doing, umpiring,
yeah,
I'm with all of that. But be real. I mean, don't say myself.
Okay.
They're asking you who your favorite is. I mean, somewhere along the line, you had a favorite driver.
Yeah.
Somewhere in your life.
Absolutely.
All right. Here's Suarez.
What'd he say?
Himself.
AJ Allmendinger.
Dale Singer.
It's got to be a toss-up between Chase Briscoe or Tim Richmond.
My favorite of all time would have been Kyle Pudding.
Dale Jr.
Can I say myself?
Yeah.
Okay, it's me.
But really, like, anybody but Ross Chastain.
Good answer.
Who was that?
Good answer.
Alex Bowman. He said he was his favorite. Himself was his favorite driver, and then he said, but really anybody but
It
Ross
does show you
Chastain.
how young these guys are, that they don't say some of the older drivers that we saw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They only was visually watch some of the young, what we call younger drivers, but they ain't now. They're retired with the junior and everybody else, you know?
All right, JP, you got a phone caller here. Thomas Porgello, I wanted to talk a little bit about Matt Benedetto, Terry. Thomas, you there?
Good morning.
Doing good. What's up? Okay.
They're teammates, you know. They were at the time. And, I mean, how much richer could Denny Hamlin get by winning that race or more famous? But that would have changed Matt's life. I mean, like, why don't you just let that kid win a race, you know? I mean, I'm competitive as they come. I played every sport known to man, but doggone, at some point, just like, this could change this kid's life. You know what I mean? Just let him win. I mean,
I'm not sure that some races ever think that way. You know, especially Denny Hamlin.
Well, Thomas, you know, when he got done and he started talking about when he got out of his car, and if you listen to him, I mean, he was downhearted. I mean, he said, you know, hey, I've blown it. You know,
he's about to cry.
Yeah, and he was like, you know, I've blown it. I'll not have another chance. This is my chance, and it blew it. And he says that he could not believe, and he says all of a sudden he just starts looking around. He looks at the big screen, and they're pointing at him, and all these people are cheering for him. And he said he never knew how life was until he saw that. He said more people were pulling for him than he ever thought, you know.
Oh, he's just a great human being, man.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you.
I could say negative about him.
Yeah.
But when he was with Joe Gibbs Racing, that's when Joey Logano came along, and Mom and Daddy brought $1 million with them. And that's what happened there.
Well, I know when he was
not his parents, Joey Logano's parents brought $1 million with Joe Gibbs Young when Joey Logano got there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Well, I sat there and I told him I was a Kyle Busch fan, and he said, "Oh, I mean, you know, he took that off." But I mean, of all the people, I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the ones that I've ever talked to, I moved him, and I don't have a second place driver because I only go with one. But I'm gonna pull for this guy. I mean, you know, I moved him into number 2 spot on my list. I never had a number 2, but after listening to him and talking to him, I'm like, this guy is as good as gold as they come.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, he is a genuine, kind human being. There's nothing about him, nothing unpleasant, just a wonderful person. And I would love to see him, you know, get a team and, you know, let his dream come true. It just, I long for the day. I mean, if Matt's racing, then I'm watching the race. Otherwise, I don't care anything about it.
Well, I appreciate it, Thomas. Before you go, you want to tell Terry how many points Tar Heel's going to beat the Wolfpack by today?
32.
Thomas, let me tell you something. I like you, and I appreciate you calling and all that good stuff. But you know, I've told people all weekend. I said we're not supposed to beat y'all. Y'all are 9-0 at home, and everybody say, "Will you quit saying that?" And I said, well, we're not. We're supposed to lose. You know? So that's how I look at the game.
I don't think they're supposed to lose this year. State's won what
Yeah,
7 8 in a row.
State's one spot ahead of us in ACC.
Yeah. State's playing well, so it's not. No, they're not supposed to lose this year. I think it's going to be a good game.
And Thomas will tell you this. I think sometimes when we go back and look at what people say, and I go back to Drake May, and then all of a sudden State beats them. Well, last week Smith said some words, and it kind of got me off. I'm like, why do you do this before we get ready to play Carolina?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he said some words about Carolina and Duke, both, about the blue. And, you know, and I'm like, buddy, I hope you light it up because you just put us in a tight situation right here now.
I told Kevin, I think we're going to, we'll have a hard time. It wouldn't surprise me if we lost today.
Hey, well, a buddy of mine just sent me a text or a quote from Roy Williams while we were on the phone that said, Roy Williams said, I'd rather beat State than eat.
I can believe that.
Oh, gosh. But, hey, Tom, when I get to work, I'm going to send you some pictures of a new Gladiator we got.
Oh, you're trying to make my wife mad.
Yeah.
So if I come home with a Gladiator, Thomas, I might be sleeping on your couch.
No. Make sure he wears a sweater.
Yeah.
Make sure he wears a sweater vest home.
Sweater vest.
Buy the Gladiator and wear the sweater vest home, and everything's going to be okay.
In her color.
Thomas,
make sure it's in her
Thomas,
color.
in all seriousness, man, it's just like ever since I've made these comments, it's like my wife. Not about the sweater. Don't listen to these guys. Every time we're driving around, she'll say, "There's a Gladiator. Aren't you gonna get one of those? There's a Gladiator there." So it's like,
That's great.
Yeah, that's my dream car. One day,
You got to invite him up for lunch and smooze him. You got to smooze him up real good, Tom. I mean,
there's a Chick-fil-A in Forest City now, so I got you, buddy.
That's right. Went for Chick-fil-A and came home with a Gladiator. I'll explain that one away.
Hey, Kevin, hey, do me a favor. Ask JP why I didn't get a single phone call about a car when he needed one.
I don't know where he bought he went into the underground or something. I don't know where he went.
South Carolina. Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? No JP. No JP. No. All right, Thomas, you be careful and go Tar Heels.
All right, y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk some basketball. I wanted to go to the break, though, with this nice little tweet. Kenny Rogers used to have a celebrity basketball game, and this is Michael Jordan in the game. And the joke is that after his retirement, Jordan admitted the only one man he couldn't stop on the basketball court was Kenny Rogers.
The gambler.
Tom, check out that picture there.
Oh, my God.
There's joy for you folks listening on radio live every Saturday on YouTube. You can watch. Well, I'll pull up some fun pictures and videos. Now, read the quote up top. This is Mark Calcavecchia, a former PGA pro. I played in that event at Kenny Rogers' farm. Michael Jordan elbowed me in the gut and told me to stay the F out of his way.
You know that's a true quote. I mean, it sounds just like Michael.
100% true.
I can believe it.
Oh, yeah.
He told me to get the F out of his
Wow.
way. All right. Okay. When we come back, we'll have NBA talk. We're going to talk about we've got to talk about the dunk of the night last night. We've also got to talk about the Warriors and the Cavaliers. Tom, your embarrassment last night. I've been waiting for this one. And then Terry, your Celtics. Got some issues with them, too.
Well, he got no issues.
But when we come back, we're going to talk. I bet you won't. Shannon Sharp challenges the Memphis Grizzlies. KTCBroadcasting.com.
They are there when you need them. We're talking about Shelby Heating and Air, where their customers come first. Remember the cold 10 below degree temperatures during the Christmas weekend? Well, Shelby Heating and Air made over 70 calls to help keep folks warm during Christmas. And they'll do the same for you. Ask about up to $750 in rebates on select products, along with their safety furnace checkup for just $99. Shelby Heating and Air, 704-487-7877. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too. They're there when you need them. There's no use to be cold this coming winter. Head on into Today's Pro in Shelby for warmth and comfort. From gas logs to fireplaces to inserts and more. With name brands like Empire, Monessen, and Buck Stove. Be ready for old man winter today with a stop at Today's Pro in Shelby. And they also do service calls. And don't forget, they fill those propane cylinders. Just call 704-600-8393. 704-600-8393. Today's Pro, 1325 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at thetodayspro.com.
Built upon a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, the Kubota L-Series is part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. They feature powerful Kubota diesel engines and easy operation. The durable Kubota L-Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Your Kubota dealer is Parker Farm Service, located at 126 Bessie Drive on Oak Grove Road at the Highway 74 bypass in Kings Mountain.
The Cherryville Golf and Country Club has new renovations and will be expansion on golf. Having a wedding reception? Cherryville Golf and Country Club banquet room is the place for it. Private parties, birthday parties, and corporate events. Cherryville Golf and Country Club, 200 Club Drive, Cherryville. Call 704-435-6597.
It's time to go picking at Gaston Pickers in Gastonia. They are now open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., Sunday afternoons from 1 to 5. Come check it all out. 28,000 square feet of vendors with antiques, collectibles, furniture, and more. And vendor space is available by calling 704-852-7055. Check out some of the booths at whatsupshopper.com and online at gastonpickers.net. Like them on Facebook too. Gaston Pickers, 503 Long Avenue in Gastonia, or exit 19 off I-85. Congratulations to Gaston Pickers, celebrating 10 years of business. There's nothing like cash in your pocket, especially if you can turn your scrap into cash with the help of Gaston Used Auto Parts and Recycling in Gastonia. For over 25 years, this locally family-owned and operated business has been giving some of the best prices for scrap. They take tungsten scrap carbide, as well as stainless steel, aluminum, copper, and brass. Need help? Gaston Used Auto Parts and Recycling will supply you with a roll-off container to help make your recycling easy. Turn your scrap into cash with the help of Gaston Used Auto Parts and Recycling. 305 Dogwood Street in Gastonia. Call 704-827-9468. Online at GastonUsedAutoPartsAndRecycling.com.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. They're talking about basketball right now. Not really sure.
Hey,
You wore that to school yet?
there
David?
is.
You wore that to-
I am sure I could pull out some.
Wolfpack shirt.
Yes.
I'm sure that you could pull out some quilts and get the same kind of fabric that grandma's made with that.
Unreal.
All right, we're back.
Yes.
All right.
we're back.
Shelby Heating and Air bringing you Saturday Morning Sports Talk. Give them a call, 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com.
All right, so for the folks watching online, we're going to show you some highlights here of last night. Shannon Sharp, basically. So he was at the Lakers-Grizzlies game. And, you know, as a fan sitting there jawing with the players, well, he told one of the Grizzlies players that he wasn't big enough to guard LeBron. And that guy gave him a slinging FU back to Shannon. Shannon responded that he to come say it to my face. Basically, he stood up on the sideline. Shannon's not on the court. He's standing in the yellow where he's supposed to be. So you got to give him credit for that. Shannon never comes on the court. Now, what happens is, for the folks watching at home, I got to do some quick editing here. Steven Adams comes over. Now he's a big giant man.
That's Giant Jesus, right?
Right, Giant Jesus here.
All right.
And he's from Australia. He may be a tough fella and everything, but so everyone's arguing in online. Terry, the big argument online. Terry, he wasn't arguing with that. Adams was yelling at Shannon, but Shannon wasn't yelling at him. He was yelling at the other dude, and Adams tries to get in the middle of it.
He's protecting his player.
Now
that's what he's doing.
This little man right here, Tom, right here, tries to hold Adams, and he just slings him around like a rag doll here in a second. Just watch him. So we're gonna I've got a bunch of things to talk about. All right, the guy over here looking like Usher is actually John Morant's dad. So you got Usher, Giant Jesus, midget executive that can't do anything. So while this is happening, so basically, Shannon yells at a player yells "F you" to Shannon. John Morant yells over to Shannon too to sit the F down. He said sit yo A down. Okay, and that's when Shannon was like, "You come tell me too." So neither one of them. They both said something and then walked away from Shannon. And Shannon's like, "Well, come say it to my face." So then this is John Morant's daddy coming over here. Obviously, look at John Morant. He's hiding behind the Giant Jesus over here. Look at him. He's basically holding his waist. And then Jaws' dad comes over and says Shannon. Then Shannon, watch this. He turns right to him. There's the executive acting like a fool. Well, he just gets manhandled. Then now Shannon's going at Jaws' dad. Now here's what's weird. Why is the referee involved between Shannon and Jaws' dad right here, Terry?
Well, the main thing right now is he should have gave it up to the police officers. You take care of this.
Yeah.
That's what. This is what's the weirdest thing about me watching this. He should be over with the players. There's referees with the players. There's security. But why in the world? Watch this. He stays with Jaws' dad like he's a real player. Look at him.
And right there's the cop. I mean, you know.
Well, what is he doing?
Security guy.
What is the referee doing? You gonna call tech on Jaws' dad right now? Like, where's the police? Why is the referee? Terry, would you be ever holding someone's dad in the stands?
Well, I'm trying to give help. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, and I understand him being there.
If that would have been a regular,
where's the other guy?
There's the ref.
If that would have been a regular person, they would never get to go back in that Lakers stadium.
You talking about Shannon?
Yes.
Yeah,
he should be banned. He should be banned from the Lakers facility.
Which part? But which part? No.
If any person is a normal person, they're banned forever from that.
They can't run up and down the sideline.
I don't care if he's a celebrity or not. He's banned.
I don't know if they would be.
He don't need to be. He don't need to be doing that.
I don't know if they would be.
He should be banned.
But that's where you walk, Zach.
If a normal fan would have done that, no, but a normal fan, they would never came back in the stadium.
Yeah, they lead him straight out and ban him.
But what did
that's
he
what
do?
happens.
No, let's talk about what he did. Wait a minute. Shannon Sharp stood up, said, "Come here." That's what he did?
Why is he engaging the player?
No,
exactly. I agree with that.
Time out. Tom, again, every fan over there on that sideline says something. Charlotte Hornets have a famous fan called Purple Shirt Guy. He stands there all game yelling at the other team's players. He's never been banned for anything. He stands exactly where Shannon did. Now, if Shannon, I agree. If Shannon took a step on that court, you have an argument with that. But at this point, all he did, let's go over what Shannon did. Shannon stood up, said, say it to my face. Come say it to my face. And then when Jaws' dad come over, he went towards Jaw down the yellow. Then he went back underneath the tunnel. He never stepped foot on the thing. And as far as we know, we don't even know if he ever said a cuss word. But you get banned for cuss word. Shannon never touched anybody.
My point, from my standpoint, if I had my son there and that happened, and that melee got out of hand and they got him in with the kids, it's a problem.
Who caused the melee? The players are causing the melee.
He should have been a better man that kept his mouth quiet.
The players are causing the melee.
The way it's handled.
Can bench players come off the bench, Tom?
No.
In a fight. So count the bench players right now. How many should be suspended right now?
I'm not saying
for
that.
arguing with a fan,
but
Shannon was not on the court.
If the fan chooses to yell and then the player chooses to engage, that's usually exit stage right for the fan. And it might be exit for the player depending on what they did. But
it would go back to the malice. What is it? The malice at the palace or whatever.
Yeah, if the fan is seeking the engagement and gets it, he's done. I don't care.
And he's doing that right there.
Yeah,
he's saying, "You come in."
Yeah, if they choose to ignore your cussing and you're acting the fool when there's kids at home.
Okay, let's back up a minute.
No. I'm gonna finish.
Okay,
that he should be thrown out because he's trying to be part of the game. That he's not part of a game.
Oh, the humanity.
I mean,
all right.
Who would endorse this?
Tom, okay, back up. Let's back up for a second. Let's back up for a sec.
It's crazy.
Let's back up for a sec. If Shannon yells to that guy, "You can't guard LeBron," and that guy does not say "F you back," does anything happen? No. If that guy, again, who walked to who? They walked towards Shannon. The bench walked towards Shannon. Again, if they chose to come over there is nothing if John Morant does not say something to Shannon, does anything happen? No. Those are the players. They're supposed to be on the court. Why are they walking over to a fan to threaten him?
I'm not excusing their behavior either.
Right. I mean, they should be taking care of all.
How many suspensions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players are there. Only 5 of them are supposed to be on the court.
I think
so. 6 of them should be suspended right now, right?
Yes, and then you have a meeting and say,
"I agree,
Shannon, you're from FS1.
Come back.
Yeah, and Shannon,
you're from FS1. This is the NBA.
That's the Lakers' house. He's definitely coming back. It's LeBron's #1 fan, y'all.
Well, I mean,
he's LeBron's crew.
So Kevin says it's okay because he's LeBron's.
I'm not saying
that don't mean a thing.
So his behavior is excused.
No, I'm saying again? If the players would have ignored Shannon, would you still have kicked Shannon out?
No.
Okay, then Shannon didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, he did.
So the players, no, Tom,
He was pinpointing. He says, "Here it is. You come here."
If you get the engagement you seek, you're culpable as well. Now, I'm not saying the players aren't. I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
All right, Tom. Let's go over this.
Let's
Let's go over this. You guys are umpires, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are umpires, right? And let's say there's a fan yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're bad, Blue. You're bad, Blue. Are you supposed to be listening to it?
No.
Not
don't
until
just answer the
escalates.
questions. And let's say there's a supervisor there, head of the states that are watching this game. And let's say, Tom, you walk over there and get in an argument with the fan. Is your head of the state going to be? Would he have rather you ignored him, or would he have rather you engaged with the fan?
They tell you not
if
to.
that happens, well, again, guys, what I'm getting at is that there is no altercation without the Grizzlies leaving their bench and coming across the court to Shannon.
And there's no altercation if he keeps his mouth shut either.
He is a fan. There's only so far he can go.
That's what
And
I'm
then you're
saying.
out.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, he was engaging. He's telling the guy to come to him.
The way it's handled in high school.
Okay, I'll get this. Let me get this. If I stand up, Kevin Hastings stands up and says, LaMelo, come here. LaMelo, come here. And if LaMelo ignores me, I can sit down, drink a beer, have a great time.
Yeah.
But if I hurt LaMelo's feelings and he comes over and tells me to shut up, I gotta leave.
Now you're both in trouble.
If I am a regular fan, nobody knows
stupidest
who
thing
I am. Different story. This is Shannon Sharp. Everybody knows who they are. The whole place got quiet when he started yelling.
He didn't do anything wrong.
You know, he put
He's
his
acting a
own
fool.
self
He might
out
have been
there
acting
in the
you're
middle
right,
of
Tom.
everything.
He's acting fool, but I don't think he did anything wrong.
The way
The Grizzlies are 100% wrong on this.
I agree
This is
with
a-
every
this
one
is-
of their players
Yeah,
who
they
left
should
that
be.
bench
organization,
should
I'm
be
not
everyone
saying
in the
they're
NBA
not.
is wrong.
a
with this.
game, at least
You're
a game
saying
or two.
only one side's wrong. We're saying both.
Yes.
I mean, that's the difference between
They're-
us.
they're-
I don't know
they-
what-
they
y'all
don't-
still not convinced me that Shannon did
They
anything
can't-
wrong.
they
to
can't
me.
take-
Y'all said banned.
They
Now
can't have-
eject from this game, whatever you want to make that, but banned for saying he didn't do anything.
All right, borderline.
He didn't do
I mean, it's
anything.
just like, man, if this happens again, I mean, you want to go here and act like the fool, that's fine. And
What did he
engage
say,
play.
Tom? He said
I
you're
don't
too
know. I can't hear
small.
what that,
You
that-
should be banned for
That's
saying
what
you're
you
too
think
small.
he said. That's what you think
That's
he
what
said.
that's what
You
everybody
don't know
said.
what else he said sitting there the whole time. He was
Oh,
sitting there the whole
now
time.
we're
You know
going
what he
back to
said.
the first quarter.
But then he
It don't matter.
engaged. He says, "You come
matter.
here."
Well, I'm just telling you, you know, I don't know
We all have
why.
different opinions.
Why
That's
would
okay.
you? Why would you endorse despicable behavior?
I'm
Right,
not
and,
endorsing it.
and then you got FS with the place he works for.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have any problem with him. They're gonna let him come back on the show. He wouldn't come back on my show
This is the problem
because
with-
it looks bad for the company.
This is the problem with sports in general.
Yeah,
it does.
y'all's mind.
This is the problem with sports in general. Is this kind of behavior is? Oh,
Why
it's
are y'all
okay.
feeling so hurt
I'm
about
not
this?
feelings aren't
Y'all
hurt.
are
not.
He's an adult.
He's a.
What
I
did
mean,
he do,
he's-
Zach? He stood up and said, "Come, Zach. If a man says F you to your face or across the court, are you not going to say, come say it to my face?" He said, "You're too small to guard LeBron." His feelings got hurt and said, "F you, big grown man." The other grown man said, "Come say it to my face." Now I say for saying "come say it to my face" should be banned forever. Come on, the player threatened me first. The player said "F you" to me is the first threat. All I did was say, "You can't guard LeBron. You can't guard LeBron."
That's what you think he said. You don't know what else he said.
That's what everyone else said, Tom. Do you not think they would come out and say, "Well, he said something about my mama too"?
You weren't there.
Should his feelings be hurt? Should that grown man's feelings be hurt by Shannon
Well,
Sharp?
if I was the player, I wouldn't have engaged.
If he
Shannon
was
Sharp,
he
but-
didn't, because him and Ja, the two, they walked away. Where are they at? That player the player that started it, Terry, do you see him in the picture?
He's not on.
He's not even in the picture, is he? Watch this.
It just
the
promotes
player that started
this.
it.
This
he didn't
promotes.
even
No, he's not even.
It
over
promotes thug behavior.
It promotes and
What?
And
It does.
promotes.
What are you talking? What is
Little
thug
League
behavior?
daddies?
That's exactly right.
And all
Yeah.
this other stuff. It's okay. You're out there making $70 to umpire a game, and you need to take all this abuse and da da da. And
I
if
just
you
want to make
can't,
sure we're all.
you're not a man.
I just want to
Your
make sure
feelings are hurt.
I want to make sure we're all clear. We're all y'all three are totally against hecklers. No more sports. Everybody should be quiet.
I think it's
No,
despicable.
we-
behavior.
we-
I still
not.
don't see what he did wrong. If he'd have stepped on the court, I would hear y'all. But him saying another man telling me "F you" and me telling him to come say it in my face is not for me to be asked to leave.
I'm glad.
You know why though? The other guy, you don't see him in that picture
'Cause he's
because
chicken.
no, the other guy said, "Heck with him, man. He's nobody."
Well, the other ones didn't.
That's probably what he said. That's why
Now,
he's not in the picture.
Real quick, you know why? he
I'm
didn't
not going to engage
know why
with
he
you
didn't?
because you're not part of me.
You know why he didn't, Terry? Because at the end of the day, and this is everybody, and this is the other argument everybody's having about. Would Steven Adams would have whooped Shannon? Nope. Terry, you taking a basketball player to get in a fight over a Hall of Fame tight end who's still in shape? Any basketball player in the world.
You talk about Giant Jesus?
Yes, he's
I
getting
think Giant
whipped.
Jesus has beat the crap out of Shannon Sharp.
Tom.
I think he would.
A basketball player. Have you ever seen basketball players fight?
He's 20 years younger. He's
True or
a
false?
foot taller.
True or false? Did Charles Barkley not bounce a basketball off Shaq's big head because he wasn't scared of his big butt? Those big boys are the worst fighters in the history of the world. They're all chickens. Do you not think, first of all, Shannon will just grab his hair, Tom?
Oh, God.
He's a football player. If you're saying that General Jesus is going to win, Tom, this is what you're saying. Could Shannon not block him?
Block him?
Shannon's a tight end. He's a basketball player. If you're saying that General
Shannon
Jesus
was a tight end.
If you're saying Giant Jesus is going to beat Shannon in a fight, you're basically saying he's beating an NFL tight
Giant
end.
Jesus, I would just reach out and grab him, and he couldn't get near me. I'd start punching him in the face.
That worked out well for a lot of Tyson's fighters. Yeah, that's exactly how that works.
My God.
Come on now.
Oh my
Come
God.
on now.
What?
I just cannot believe this.
No,
100%
reason I'm gonna
endorsement
say
of Shannon
because-
Sharp's despicable behavior. It's like, okay,
I mean,
Shannon Sharp's
Say
man.
it to my face.
Shannon
Say
Sharp
It
is
all-
Shannon
it to my
Sharp's
face.
great.
Say it
He's
to my
awesome.
face.
It all
Say it to
goes.
my face.
It all goes back to he
How am I
wanted
despicable for
Twitter.
saying, say it to my face?
Twitter.
Tom, you can't guard LeBron. You say F you to me, and now I'm despicable for saying come say it to my face. That's the argument. That is the argument.
He's an idiot.
Shannon wanted
Whatever.
Twitter followers. He wanted somebody to watch Club Shay Shay.
What the same thing
Same
that
thing
he
with-
complains about every week, Insta trash and all this stuff. It's going to get 10,000.
And that's why he
likes
did
on
what he
that.
did with-
That-
that's why he
that's
did with
why he
Skip
did it. And now
Bayless.
you're endorsing that
Guys,
behavior.
he didn't stand up to the guy said F you to him. Do y'all not get this?
Yeah, I agree, but the guy he never was there after that.
Shannon is sitting down. I know. Shannon is sitting down and heckling. You can't guard LeBron. You can't guard LeBron. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Well, if Shannon wants to heckle, tell him to put back on
Is
the
that okay,
pads.
Terry?
Go
Yeah.
back on.
Okay.
You want to
So
heckle?
that's
go ahead
fine.
and do that.
Is it
Go put on
okay
the
to
pads.
yell at a player you can't guard LeBron? Yes.
It was
Okay.
not the point until he looked at him and said, whatever.
The player.
And then when Shannon got up and said, you come here and say that, that's what I'm getting at.
Terry,
that player never
the
come
player didn't
towards
say
him.
whatever. He looked at him and said F
I
you.
know, but that player never come to
All right,
him.
let's go to the timeline events one more time. One more time.
He
You're
walked
right,
away.
Terry. You're right. You're right. Who
'Cause-
came to Shannon? The rest of the
That's
team.
Well, they is taking up for their player.
Oh, my player got his feelings hurt by Shannon. All right.
If any normal player would have got to the baseline where Shannon was, they would have automatically been removed.
All right, let's go over this. Let's go over this again. We're going over the timeline.
We were just cut off. Our mics have just
Yes,
been cut off.
they were. All right, because y'all don't listen. We're going over the timeline. So what happened was, Shannon yells. Let's take Shannon's name out of it. The fan yells, "You can't guard LeBron. You can't guard LeBron." The player says, "F you, F you." Shannon then stands up. The fan stands up and says, "Say it to my face." John Morant says, "Sit your A down." Shannon says, "Say it to my face." Y'all's point of view, and after that is, that fan should have to leave forever. I'm just. That's where y'all are at on this. I know y'all mics are off. That's just where y'all are at on this. So I just want to make sure that's where we're at. No. Those are the facts. Now then, what happened? Where the rest of the timeline is? Shannon says, "Come here, come here, come here." Terry is right. That chicken that started it is over there sitting on the bench. The other 11 players, including 6 players who should be kicked out for leaving the bench, walked over to Shannon. Again, the fan has never left his seat. We stood up. He never left his area. He never come on the court. As far as we know, he's not said a cuss word yet. The only player who engaged anyone was the players walking over to that man. Now, if that was a regular fan, would they have walked over there? Because y'all were talking about Shannon wanting hits or whatever. If that was a regular fan, would they have even bothered with him? If that was Purple Shirt Hornets guy, would they have walked over there and threatened him? Now, that's where we're at. Those are the timeline of the events. We can all agree that, Terry, you're right. That guy didn't want nothing to do with it. But, again, the fan was still standing there doing nothing, and they came to him.
If that would have been anybody, those guys would have did the same thing.
If that would have been me, they would have ignored me.
Well, no. Well, you're
That guy
right.
wouldn't have
You're
said
probably right,
right?
because they'd have probably looked at me or whoever and said,
What was the
Like
guy's name?
that.
I don't even know the guy's name. Let's make it up. Let's say it's Muggsy Bogues. if Muggsy Bogues would have said, if I would have been saying you too big to guard him, and that guy said, would he have turned and said F you to a regular fan, yelling you can't guard LeBron?
No, because the guy who said that to him, to Shannon Sharp, to me was a bigger person than Shannon Sharp is, because he is like, man, I ain't got time to deal with you. You just be yourself. All you do is get on a radio show and talk, and on television and talk. You don't mean nothing to me. That's what he said. I'm not dealing with you.
I'm looking at it as any other fan, not as in like Shannon and his hits and his TVs. As any other fan, would that player have said F you to me? Would the whole Grizzlies team would have come over to me? No, I don't think they would have. I think the Grizzlies are 100% wrong on this. Whether Shannon should have been yelling at him, whatever, that's whatever. But again, banning a person for another man saying F you to me and me telling him to come say it to my face.
I'm not saying ban him for things, but he ought to be suspended for so many games you cannot come back.
All right. If you're the boss, that's fine.
And then on the players, all them players should be banned a game or two for coming on the court.
They broke all kinds of rules.
I'm against both sides of what happened. That should have never happened in that game.
I think the Grizzlies let a fan get to them, and then they got beat by the worst team in the West. They let a fan get to them.
They're not the worst team in the West.
One of them. Let's be exact.
I'm scared to talk because I don't want to be silenced by the dictator again.
I mean, I just want to get the facts out, so because y'all kept interrupting the facts.
Was silenced.
Now, I do know a few weeks ago we were talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Tom said they would beat the Warriors in the finals, didn't they, Terry? Do you remember that one? You remember that conversation?
I can't say
conversation.
anything about the Cavaliers anymore because I have caught so much flack for my Ricky Rubio comment. Your dad.
Just because he's never heard of anybody, don't take that personally. There's a lot of people he's never heard of.
Karate Kid.
Calvin's on my Facebook talking about Ricky Rubio.
He's obsessed. He's weird about
Ricky Rubio. He's like he's got an alliteration name. I know it sticks in your mind, but
so funny.
But the Cavs are Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, they look like gangbusters one game, and they look like the Bessemer City Parks and Recs team the next. I mean, they just.
Well, I'm just being honest. Last night, that game, and I sat there after I turned it over there, and I'm looking at all the guys that's not playing for Golden State. But now, I'm very opposite of what a lot of people think. This is the NBA. Them guys sitting on the bench made the NBA because they're good enough to make the NBA. You're not just sitting on the bench just to be there, just to hope one of them fouls out so I can go into the ball game. That's not how it works. If you're over there, you're replacing somebody. You've had a good career doing something, and that's playing basketball. That's why you made the team. Now, you just got beat by a bunch of guys besides Poole that was out there on the court.
It's god-awful, Tom.
You know, I mean, really, Poole was the only guy they had out there.
I cannot defend the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Thompson didn't play. Curry didn't play. Green didn't play. Wiseman didn't play.
Maybe first round.
Steve Kerr saying Steve Kerr's whining they wants a 72-game season.
I wanted to get to that. I'm glad you said that. I feel terrible for fans who bought a ticket expecting to see someone play. It's a brutal part of this business. It's why I'm continuing to advocate for the 72 seasons. You're the one who said them, jackwagon.
That's like Pop coming out and saying that.
F you right now? I'll come say it to Steve Kerr's face. F you. You're the one that benched them. What are you talking about? Let's have less games. I want less work, Terry. Don't we all?
Yeah. And making how much money?
I mean, for the love of God, guys, come on. I mean, the fact he said that is Steve Kerr said a lot of crazy stuff over the years, and I don't know if he.
You know why he said that? Because his team just went to Boston and had the game won. Boston played as terrible as they could play against Golden State Thursday night. Now, if anybody watched that game, you cannot sit here and tell me they didn't. Boston played like they had never played before. Tatum couldn't hit nothing. Brown couldn't hit nothing. And Golden State's will win it until the very end, and Boston comes back and beats them in overtime. And you're sitting there like, well, I mean, you had everybody out there. Thompson, Curry, Wiseman, Green, everybody playing, and you couldn't beat Boston. You know what? That's how come you can't win on the road. Boston should have never won that game. Should have never been in that game. Boston should have got beat by 25. and they won the game.
So I want to talk about this ticket thing. It's such a serious thing. Because let's go over this. So even as Charlotte Hornets affiliates, right? Folks, listen, we you can get some tickets, whatever. We give them out. We got tickets if you want to call this Thursday Charlotte Hornets and Bulls game right now. Call the rest of the show 704-435-2845. Tell JP you want Hornets tickets. Give them your email. We've got free tickets to Hornets Thursday. Now, here's the thing. They don't allow us to get tickets for Lakers, Brooklyn Nets, Golden State Warriors. Because when these teams come to town, Terry, they jack up the prices and they sell all the tickets. But then this happens, Tom. You're a little boy in Cleveland. You're a Steph Curry fan. You're a Klay Thompson fan. Surely to God you're not a Draymond Green fan. But
there are some.
But Zach and I growing up, I probably saw 8 San Antonio Spurs games. I saw David Robinson play one time. And now some of them he was hurt, but he did not. They would set the Spurs were doing that. And these people are paying double, triple, quadruple for these prices for the Warriors to come to town, and then Steve Kerr sets them. Like, everyone should know. They should be able to sue for that. But again, remember we went over this a long time ago. That on the backs of the tickets, that we can fix this, we can do all this legally, blah blah blah. Either way, this isn't right. Whatever the sports needs doing, they need to make a rule. If you're not, you need to go. How about Terry? Whatever it is, if you're gonna, you got to miss 2 games in a row. If you're gonna scratch somebody or 3, you're not gonna do a healthy scratch.
They'll find ways to work around it. Then they'll put him in for 2 minutes and take him out or something stupid.
Pop started this.
Yeah, Pop started
He's the one that started it, and it's a mess.
Well, it is for the amount of money that you're paying, whatever player salary, whatever you get, the amount of money that Johnny Paycheck, he paid $40 or $50, $60 for his ticket. Then he paid $35 to park. Then little Johnny wants a fry and a hot dog. He's got to pay $15 for that. He sits down, and now I get to watch 3 guys I ain't never heard of play basketball. I mean, it's just so much. We're such a star celebrity. Whatever they do is fine. And, whatever Johnny Paycheck did, it's basically who gives a crap about Johnny Paycheck. I'm kind of sick of that. Like Steve Kerr sticking up for all these. I mean, and I hate to say it, they have skill, they have ability. That's why they're multimillionaires.
And you
can't just say, well, they just fell out of the sky.
And it's been an 82 game season forever.
And it goes back to, like, we'll say Jordan, for example. If he could have played, by gosh, he's playing. It's a different mentality. These kids are sissies.
Here's the deal. If you want to drop the games, then you drop their salary.
Yeah, there's
You're not worth that much money.
But you see that. I think that's a societal thing.
Collective bargaining agreement, you could work something in, Terry. The NFL only pays the players if they play. Like, the ones that aren't guaranteed, and almost all of them are. If you're not playing on Sunday, you're not getting paid.
If you're inactive?
I don't know about how that works, but, like, there are the 45 that get you. If you're on game day roster, those
46.
Guys that
I'd like to know how it's rated, because if it says at the bottom, guaranteed contract, that don't matter what happens.
See, all NBA contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah,
so that's why they can do this. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If they've got to work something out, they've got to figure out something, and then to cut games. I'm into cutting games. It's basketball. If you can't pay, it's just basketball. Terry, honestly, can you name one team that you've ever coached, been a part of, that would not rather play than practice? Because if we're not playing tonight, you know what we're doing, Tom? We're dang practicing. Yeah. Maybe the pros aren't practicing that hard as a game.
But what I was gonna say, if they play 72 games, Steve Kerr's gonna sit them 10 games.
Right.
If they play 40 games, Steve Kerr's gonna sit them 10 games. I mean, it's just. I think he's gonna do the same thing.
I think he's gonna do the same thing.
Because it's a long and grinding playoff once we get there. Because we understand. We're watching you play now while you're scoring 140 points, knowing when it comes playoff time, you're not going to score 140 points.
So here's an example. This is Memphis' schedule, right? Let's see. Memphis at home against the Pacers, $13. Portland, $6. Toronto, $9. When Golden State comes down, $85. Almost 10 times the price for the lowest ticket available.
And then you buy it.
They might not even play.
Then you buy it, and then they don't show up.
Right. You spend $400
and you got
to see Jordan Poole.
You got, my 10-year-old son wondering why he can't see his favorite player.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, you get to see them. You just not on the court.
No, they don't even travel. They
Get to see him wearing a pair of
Oh,
Beats.
all of them were there last
in
night.
street clothes.
Yeah.
In
All
a
of them were there.
$2,000 suit.
It's not like it was.
Yeah, every one of them sitting over there on the bench, cheering.
But why can't they just do 2 and 2?
I mean, that was a huge. I mean, Poole was it. The other 4 guys was over
If
on
you're
the
going to
bench.
sit, why don't you sit 2 the first night and 2 the next night instead of 4 or nothing? Now everybody's screwed in whatever. And here's the one that makes me mad about their argument though. They'll sit there and say, but they don't do that at home. We're not going to sit for our home fans. Now Terry, the home fans bought 40 games or 5 games or 20 games. They can go see. They get 40 games to see Steph Curry. I get to see him once out of a year.
Yeah.
If he comes.
And then if he comes, like I got to see David Robinson once.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's like Boston, Golden State. They only played each other twice. Their season series is over. They only played just twice. We played there. They played here. That's it.
Exactly.
So when you went to Boston, that was your only chance to see these guys.
You know who didn't? You're right, Terry. You know who didn't sit when he come to Charlotte?
Michael Jordan. I was thinking in my head.
I
saw him.
I saw him.
I was on the 10th row. When I was on 10th row from the year he came back from baseball, and he played first time he played down here.
And a guy told me last night when we were talking about guys sitting, and we had found out all them guys were going to sit. First thing he said, Michael Jordan played when he had almost pneumonia.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He's
was on the
play.
court.
All right. Let's see. Is that all the sports here? Are we ready for NFL? Are we ready to do our picks? We ready to break that down?
Well, only one person at this table knows who's going to win.
Yeah,
so.
Congratulations, Tom. I give you all the credit in the world. I was proud of you.
We head to the break with some former footage.
Mean Joe Green.
We'll be back on KTC.
That's how Draymond learned his.
They are there when you need them. We're talking about Shelby Heated and Air, where their customers come first. Remember the cold 10 below degree temperatures during the Christmas weekend? Well, Shelby Heated and Air made over 70 calls to help keep folks warm during Christmas. And they'll do the same for you. Ask about up to $750 in rebates on select products, along with their safety furnace checkup for just $99. Shelby Heated and Air, 704-487-7877. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too. They're there when you need them.
What other pre-owned vehicle dealership can offer this? Pre-owned sales, a complete service department, and complete body shop. The only one I know is Oak Grove Auto Sales Service and Body Shop in Kings Mountain. They can do it all. Check with their automotive repair shop for all kinds of automotive repair. Plus, they sell tires too. And from a scratch to a big fender bender, they can help with that in their body shop. Oak Grove Auto Sales Service and Body Shop, 522 Oak Grove Road, Kings Mountain. Online at oakgroveauto.com. What's the best way to explain the golf at Glen Oaks Golf Course in Maiden? It's world-class golf for the working class. Yes, golf is never better than it is at the Glen Oaks Golf Course in Maiden, with special programs for seniors, men, ladies, and juniors, plus a driving range, banquet facilities, and a swimming pool, picnic area, and more. For your tee time or other questions, call 828-428-2451. The Glen Oaks Golf Course, 245 Golf Course Road in Maiden. It's world class for the working class. It's time to play at the Green Meadows Golf Course on Kelly Road in Mount Holly. Play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. Weekends just $30. Seniors ride and play Monday through Friday for $20. And every Wednesday is Ladies' Day. Ladies play and ride for just $15. So make your tee time now by calling the Green Meadows Golf Course, 704-827-9264. Green Meadows Golf Course, 957 Kelly Road in Mount Holly.
At Carolina Federal Credit Union, we know that we are not like the others. When you make a deposit, you're getting an excellent rate and helping a neighbor refinance for a reliable vehicle, buy a home, or start a family. It has been our community that has helped us thrive for over 50 years. The more that we grow, the better we can serve all of our neighbors. All that it takes to become a member is to be a part of the community. Carolina Federal Credit Union. We treat you like family because you are.
Golden Solutions Insurance in Shelby asks, have you had a major life event recently? Did you get married? Has your family had a baby? Has there been a death in your family? Did you move, or has there been a change in your income? Golden Solutions Insurance can help if you answered yes to any of these questions. Call us today to look at your options. For your health insurance, we represent major companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and Better, and in Rutherford County, we represent United Healthcare. Call Claudia Vaughn today at Golden Solutions Insurance, 704-477-1426. That's 704-477-1426.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang.
Want to remind our listeners that Shelby Heating and Air bringing you Saturday morning sports talk. 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com.
So we got a mystery man here for the guys. Can't believe, honestly, I really can't believe y'all didn't get this one. But
it took me a minute, and then I called it. I recognized it.
There's a man named Squints here. I'm about to show for the folks online.
Post for L.A.
Y'all got to think though. Let's give him a hint.
No, I'm not. Hey, that is the hint. What do you mean? It's his name.
Well, yes, that is the name.
That's all the hint they need. All right, for the folks watching online,
one of the greatest.
There's a guy here standing with a pretty blonde with his arm around, or her arm around him, and he's wearing a shirt that says Squints. And he's got glasses on, backwards hat, little fella. Y'all still don't know, boys?
He looks the same as he did when he was like 8.
All right, here we go for the reveal for the guys that don't know. Y'all don't remember who Squints is?
My son's favorite movie.
Y'all ever seen a movie before? Baseball? All kinds of hints. Y'all know what movie this is?
It's The Sandlot.
There we go, Tommy. That's Squints. And there's the lifeguard. Wendy Peppercorn. Saving him. From The Sandlot.
And that's them today.
That's them today. Right here.
Right.
And y'all didn't know who Squints was. That's not, again,
I'll tell you.
y'all are all kicked out of America.
Never a good idea to stand next to a girl who's taller than you.
I don't know if unless she's already shoved her tongue down your throat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Those kids are fun.
If I see a girl taller than me, I just walk the other way. I don't want
Why,
to stand
Tom?
next to them. I don't know. Just don't do it.
Intimidation.
Intimidation.
Some of them think you're cute.
Yeah. I remember one time back in my days where I used to go out and have fun. All these, I remember it was the dance floor. All these heads were sticking above everybody else's, but they're all girls. I'm like, what's going on over there? So I walked over there. UNC Charlotte volleyball team.
There you go. Yeah.
They were all like a head taller, and all the guys were all around them. You know, it was funny.
Picture didn't look right, did it, Tom?
Yeah, it's like something's wrong with this picture.
Yeah.
And I walked up, and there's a bunch of girls that were 6'2", and I tried to go up there. Hi, how you doing? It was like, didn't work. It didn't work. Struck out big time. Freshman college guys trying to talk to volleyball players.
They're probably 6'1".
That's juniors and seniors.
Not gonna work.
Yeah.
Not gonna work. Not gonna happen.
So last week, NFL playoffs. And this week we had Tom did good on his picks. Apparently, is that what you're saying, Terry?
As I can go back to my list here, we'll start at the bottom and go to the top.
All right.
Kevin went 3-3. Zach and Terry went 5-1, and Tom 6-0.
And me and you missed different games. I missed the Dallas game, and you missed.
I missed San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the difference.
Well, our strange employee's not here to say it's Los Angeles now.
Yeah.
San Diego.
We all took the 49ers.
They are the San Diego.
Yeah, and the Chargers in Jacksonville. Tom and Zach took Jacksonville, while me and Kevin took the Chargers. We all got the Bengals correct. In the Giants game, Kevin did take the Vikings, where we all, the rest of us took the Giants. We all got the Bills correct. And then Tampa Bay and Dallas, Tom and Terry took Dallas, and Zach and Kevin took Tampa. And the Dallas game, that game was over as soon as it started. We had Tom Brady doing stuff, throwing it in the ground so much, and that's what's going to happen tomorrow when Purdy gets to visit.
No, that's not going to happen there tomorrow.
Because Purdy is the last guy picked, and you think Tom Brady couldn't figure Dallas out, and you think Purdy's going to figure us out? No. Wrong answer.
They fired Leftwich after the game.
They should have fired the coach, Bowles, because they played a lot better under Bruce Arians than they do under Bowles.
I would have maybe fired Bowles and elevated Leftwich to head coach.
Yeah. He's going to get a job very quickly.
Oh, yeah,
he will.
He's going to get a job. Brown's got a new coordinator, too. Schwartz is going to be their defensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. But let's talk playoffs. Let's talk about the teams that are actually still playing.
Well, I do want to talk about our rankings here because they were very instructive, intuitive. I don't know, big words for what I'm trying to say here. So last week I gave you the rankings, okay, of offense and defense, and then we added them together, and then I re-ranked the teams based on where their rankings were added together. Guys, every game this weekend, the team with the higher ranked offense and defense added together won. Every single game was won or lost. All 6 of those disappeared there on the bottom. Got beat by a team higher ranked than them. The Giants with the win down there. Who'd they beat? Minnesota. They're down there at the bottom. Every single one. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your picks this week. Now, the teams at the close are a lot tighter now as we get further on. But just looking at the rankings right there, for the folks on the radio wondering where everybody ranks, so I'll go through them right now. This was the rankings, and the top 7 stayed exactly the same. They all won, or 2 of them had byes. Buffalo 1, San Francisco 2, Dallas 3, Philadelphia 4, Cincinnati 5, Kansas City 6, Jacksonville 7. Baltimore loses at the 8th spot to Cincinnati. Giants are the 9th spot. They're still in. They beat Minnesota 10, Seattle 11, Miami 11, San Diego. There I go. LA at 12, Miami 13, Minnesota. And dead last going into the playoffs was those Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They're terrible. They're awful.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be down there next year.
He's not.
Well, I mean, you got rid of your coach, and yeah. All right.
Gronk
so
didn't come back. Don't have Brown. I mean, yeah.
So anyway, again, remember top 7: Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, Philly, Cincy, Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Giants. So if you're going just based on those rankings, you would have Buffalo over Cincinnati tomorrow, Kansas City over Jacksonville tonight. Tonight, Eagles over Giants. And then tomorrow, San Francisco over the 49ers, beating the 2-3 spots there. So not saying none of these teams have a chance. Obviously, we got 8 teams left, so they're all pretty good, and they're really good at something. Dallas has, the 4th best offense and the 4th best defense. Buffalo's got the 2nd best offense and the 2nd best defense. Kansas City, number 1 in offense. San Francisco, number 1 in defense. All right, is that what?
Say one team there's one team that don't have a chance.
The Giants.
The Jaguars. They're playing Kansas City.
Okay.
They got a chance.
Listen, I've had
people
that
far behind.
I've had people in my office all week saying Jacksonville's winning this game.
There's no way.
How many people are in your office?
1.
1 to 3.
I've had people coming in all week. Both of them. Both of them. I can't wait till I retire.
Let me write that.
Very soon. I'm just going to come by the radio station.
We got Tim.
One of those retired guys that nowhere else to go.
We got Brent. We got Danny. We got Calvin. We got Ron and Milton and Randy. That's about 9 people there, Tom.
At least I never come by.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be one of those guys that comes by. What's going on?
But all right. So last week's games, of course, we'll go real quick. Let me give you the scores on them. Any of your comments on that? Well, from Super Wild Card Saturday, 49ers blew out the Seahawks. Jaguars squeaked by the Chargers in the Who's Got the Longest, Prettiest Hair Bowl. The Bills beat the Dolphins. Giants over the Vikings. Bengals by the Ravens, and then all kinds of pointing fingers after that game. Did y'all hear all that mess coming out of Baltimore? It's just a show over there. The running back says they should give me the ball more. We'd have won if we had our real quarterback. That was from the running back.
What, Dobbins?
Yeah. He said, well, how do I only get 13 carries? He was really mad about that. So anyway, that sets up this weekend's matchups. Again, let me repeat those tonight. Today's Jaguars at Kansas City.
At least they started off with a blowout.
Giants at Philadelphia is tonight at 8:15. Tomorrow, Bengals and Bills. Where's that game at? Is it New York? And then, so those 2 teams involved in that game don't have to play at a neutral site. But if one of them wins, they have to play at a neutral site versus Kansas City. Why does Kansas City get screwed? They're the one overall seed. They should have nothing to do with that. Kick rocks. Bengals and Bills, 3 o'clock. Cowboys and 49ers, 6:30 tomorrow. And last night, Andre asked me when do the Cowboys play this weekend. And I said Sunday at 6:30. He said good, or the whole world can watch them lose.
I was so nice. I said, Andre, you shouldn't even told me what he said. I was so nice. I'm like, I was going to send Andre a couple texts, and I was like, he probably wouldn't accept them.
Oh, he'd read them. He'd definitely read them.
Terry, you don't accept text. You
Tom,
read
will you
them.
be quiet and just be
You
upset
do not
over?
text from
Did
Terry.
I ask
Do you
to
accept?
jump
Do you
in this
accept my text?
conversation?
Terry,
Yeah.
Terry, it's like,
I
what are you
did
talking
not
about? Who
ask you.
accepts a text?
Oh my God!
It's not 1975 when you
Tom.
wrote the little girl a letter. Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe. Where she could just say no.
Tom, did I
You-
say
you
Tom?
don't-
What about your answer?
You don't get to accept a test.
You
Who
didn't even
says
raise
that?
your hand, Tom.
Who says that? I do not accept your text.
Pretend like you're at school and you got to raise your hand when I'm talking.
No, I don't raise my hand when I talk. When I talk, it's important enough you just be quiet and listen. That's the way it works around here. Unless I get my mic cut off by Air Director.
I just want to make sure y'all got all the facts before you
Just want to make sure that. Just want to make sure that.
my goodness.
Y'all
that
didn't know.
it's a
y'all
pub.
want to ban a man.
There's
saying,
no free
"Come
speech
here.
on public
Come
radio,
here."
Zach. Just remember, there's no free speech. The dictator over
Ban me
there
for
will
saying,
turn
"Come
your
here."
microphone off if you do not agree with what he said.
Your ears weren't working. You got to turn your mic off sometimes.
I was going to say the Jim Harbaugh interview. They made such a big deal about that. I thought, not Jim. Which one? Which one is it? John Harbaugh?
John.
Which one?
John is the
They're both
Ravens.
they're both jerks from Michigan. But,
He decided to stay at Michigan.
but he did. It's kind of funny. These sideline
now.
interviews, they ask like stupid questions, and when the coach gets upset about it, you know, they like the coach is a jerk. So this little, you know, they get their little cute little bimbo to go over there and ask a question, and when they say, "Why don't we just see how the game goes?" You know, like, "Are you going to do this? Are you going to pull this guy? Are you going to?" I'd look at that lady. I mean, it'd be hard for me not to. I don't blank and know. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we make in-game adjustments.
We're in the
You don't.
playoffs right now, you know?
It's like, you know, he said, "Well, we're just gonna see how the game goes, okay?" And it's like, "Oh, he was mean to the sideline bimbo." I mean, it's like, are we really going there? I mean, what do you think? The guys, how much pressure on these coaches, right?
Yeah.
Even the
He don't have a starting quarterback.
I mean, if Jim Harbaugh in the state of Michigan and John Harbaugh, if it fell off the face of the earth, I would not care. But at the same time, if the man's coaching a game and you're gonna come, you know, we're gonna send little Betty Boop over here to ask him a question, and you wonder why he gets upset. It's just so
And why
stupid.
do you even go to the
It's
ones that are
dumb.
behind?
That's right. I said, why
How you
are
feel about
we doing
losing
this?
right now, Coach?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so dumb.
I mean, that
dumb.
end of scenario right there on defense. Y'all look terrible. I mean, you know.
I mean,
well,
it's just gosh,
yeah.
I mean, it's just. I liked it better when
in game interviews of coaches and players probably should not.
No, I mean you
Should
got
never,
no,
especially if you're losing.
Now, if you want pretty sideline girl down there to say, you know,
That's
off,
all it's
off,
about.
off
That's all
camera,
it's about.
you got pretty sideline girl to say, "I just watched and they're working on such and such. You might have an ankle injury, and I just saw da da da." That's fine. That's fine. And, you know, anything that, you know, if it brings more women, they're more interested. I don't have a problem with the female refs and all that stuff. It's fine. But when you're going to go up to the guy's face and ask him a stupid question, you know, when he's trying to coach the team, that's when I have a problem with it. Just let him do
So
the
you're
job.
saying it's not a level playing field for hiring sideline reporters?
It's not. It doesn't matter. I mean, you got to see somebody who looks like me down there. "Hey, coach."
That's what I was about to say.
You know,
Honestly,
hey, coach.
You gonna pick the mole? You gonna pick the one with the big mole on it?
Right.
Yeah.
Tom, you've been doing. You played football. You've been around football a while.
Why'd you do the air quotes?
Because you're a punter.
So that's the air quotes. Well, if I played for Bessemer City, I'd have probably went both ways, offensive and defensive lineman. I'm sorry. I played for a real
I
school.
punted after the other team slammed me on the ground. I walked back there and kicked the ball 30 yards to the other team, just like you did.
I had over a 35-yard punting average, by the way. That's okay. I mean, that's okay. You can go ahead and insult me.
What I'm trying to say is, Tom, is that you've been around football a while. You've watched a lot of football. You're very knowledgeable of football. If you were down there talking to John Harbaugh, you'd probably ask him a quality football-related question, I believe. But if you and Anna walked into NBC right now and asked for the sideline reporter's job, who's getting hired?
Probably Anna.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
I'm
Yeah,
100%
no, you're correct.
right. Ain't I?
You're correct.
And this is it aggravates me because I know personally how many guys in the media relations or like say broadcasting department or how many athletes. This is what I'm getting at: the athletes that didn't make it to the NFL. Terry, how many quarterbacks in college are probably extremely qualified to be sideline reporters?
Oh,
I know.
How many that went to college? Drake, let's say Drake or Chris Keldor. Name a former or name even Tom. I'm going to give you some slack. Even a former Ohio State quarterback would be a great sideline reporter. Might even be the best job. But
the show's not complete without a mic being silenced or an Ohio State quarterback dig. We got to make sure we get it all in today.
I'm just saying.
We need to put Teacher of the Year up by us.
So I was watching a show the other day, and they said yearly there's usually only 2 quarterbacks that come out of college a year that can actually play in the NFL. So let's say take that math. Well, there's 300 teams. So to me, there's 298 other quarterbacks that could be sideline reporters right now. That could be something working in the league. And none of those guys, Terry, get jobs in that. What can they get a job doing? They got to get a job, I guess, in college, being an assistant coach or something, or go through the college ranks. But none of those guys with that degree, I could have grown up in the radio business, went to app, did sideline report work, did all this, have all these qualifications. And the only qualifications is 34 double D. That's your qualification to be a sideline reporter.
I'm not going to deny that I enjoy the aesthetics of it. I'm just going to say, it's just like, don't go up and ask him a stupid question.
But didn't they go from like, hey guys, let's stop showing the cheerleaders and sexualizing the cheerleaders so much. Now let's make all the other sideline reporters hot babes. And everyone else on the host, every host on ESPN is a lady. And again, there's nothing wrong with them liking and being involved in it, but you can't tell me that they're going to give me inside information on football. I'm sitting here on the couch, Tom, you are too, and whoever it is sitting up here asking them, how did y'all feel about that last play, coach? Not like, if that's Tony Saragusa, what does he ask? When y'all were in the 4-3, why did y'all move the guy?
Tony was, if you remember Tony.
Linebacker come in and make the play.
How
did you guys feel?
Tony was really good when back in the day.
How did y'all feel, Terry? How did y'all feel? Well, when the 400-pound, when Larry Allen cracked me over his knee, I felt good. That's how I felt. But I'm 100% with you. There's a lot of guys out there that want to be in the media and they can't be because of that. And there's other ways if you want to get women involved, hire them. And this was not supposed to be a women bashing.
No, I was just saying that it's
Tom's right.
Tom's right. No, it's not.
Tom's right on these sideline reporters that. And again, like me and Terry just said, I don't know if you should be asking anybody during the game.
I don't think you should be asking anybody a question.
Because you're going to only get pissy answers, aren't you?
I'm all for being inclusive here.
Absolutely.
But we know why you're on the sideline, sweetheart. We're not going to mince words here. We know why you're on the sideline, and that's fine. Because if I looked like you, I would have this job, but I don't. That's why I don't.
Terry, have we ever heard a coach go? Looking good out there, boys. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Let's do some more. It's always, I hate this world. Just don't talk.
I don't mind them asking anybody. Just don't go to the ones that are losing to ask them a question.
But still, the winners aren't going to give you anything. Here's what I'm
saying. They're going to tell you
they're going to be like, halftime.
I don't know if you guys remember, but I kind of lost respect for it when, remember it was Susie Colbert and Joe Namath. Joe's down there.
Joe started flirting with her.
Joe's drunk and flirting with her. Okay, you smell the liquor on this man. If anybody's that drunk,
don't put him on TV.
And really, she was the victim because he made inappropriate comments and it was really cringeworthy and creepy. I'm not going to deny that, but it's like, sweetheart, he's drunk. He's a legend. Don't do this to him.
Yeah,
and they do it anyway. And it's just like the hardball thing, because then this guy says something. Oh, let's make a big deal about it. Oh, let's put it on. Let's get it on Instagram 100 times. It's the same thing. It's like you're promoting yourself because you're going to get some kind of reaction. And I just can't. I just can't get behind it. I don't mind him being down there and saying, I saw this, I saw that, da-da-da. But just stay away from the players. And I don't care who it is. Anybody down there on the sideline, it's not the time, especially on camera live interview.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's see if I got some stats for you guys. Football stats. Brady in his career, 17. This is talk about defense win the championship, guys. In his career, Brady has had in his career. This is bad English. He's had a top 10 defense 17 times in his career. Only twice he didn't. the only other time the Bucks finished 13th, and the rest of his career was top 10. So one thing we always mention about those is that the defense has always won those championships. Of course, Brady with that math is going to be following that too. Terry, real quick number. We'll go back to that for fun tweets. Never mind. NFL. Here's another one. Patrick Mahomes is 570 yards away from passing Kurt Warner for 10th all time in passing yards in the postseason. He's only 27 years old, is what the thing says. Kurt Warner responded, "I didn't play my first playoff game until I was 28."
Well, I don't blame
He's about to pass his record before Kurt Warner. Younger than Kurt Warner even played his first game.
Wow.
So Warner was just making a point. That's an amazing stat there. So there's some NFL. The tweet of the week goes to Morton Anderson. Y'all remember him?
Left-footed kicker, Saints.
The other night,
Atlanta.
Monday night, he tweeted out, "Are the Cowboys hiring, Terry?"
Yeah, that maybe got had a baby.
I meant to ask that. Did they cut the kicker?
No. He's still on the team.
Morton
they did
trying
pick up
to get a job.
A guy and put him on practice squad. That way, if something does go wrong, he can come in. Because if you're part of the practice squad, you are eligible to play because you are signed and sealed.
Yeah, but you have to activate him. You
Are
have
you
to
saying
activate
that
him before the game.
You got to activate him before the game
They're
starts.
You're not going to activate 2 kickers for the same game.
Yeah, they will.
Terry, you're not going to do that because then you got to deactivate a backup lineman, linebacker.
I'm telling you.
Wide receiver, you can't do that. There's not enough spots to do that. You cannot do do that in a pro game. Never.
I was about to say, there's not like an emergency player if the kicker gets hurt, is it?
You know.
Well, you cannot use 2 roster spots for. You cannot use a roster spot for a backup kicker.
I mean, you can,
unless you're
allowed to.
You're not going to do that. I mean, you would have to be not just stupid, beyond stupid to have 2 active kickers for a game. Beyond stupid.
Well, we'll see.
Of course,
tomorrow.
it is Mike McCarthy. So
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I remember Tom said other things that were false in here.
Like what?
That's all I gotta say.
Oh, that's all
Like
I got to say about that.
Like telling me one day
Forrest Gump
Minnesota
over here. That's all he has to say.
Like he
about
told
that.
me one day Minnesota's outside. I'm like, no, they're not.
No,
but
you
I
didn't.
let Tom
You
just
sat
go
there.
ahead.
You
I
sat
did.
there to say a word.
I did.
They are outside.
No,
they are outside.
Because I kept thinking to myself, no,
Is it
they're
an
not.
Is it
They're
an
in a
outdoor
dome.
stadium? Is it an outdoor stadium?
You know.
Is it an outdoor stadium?
Everything in the world's outdoors, Tom.
No, it's
Your
not.
house is outside.
No, false. It's a retractable roof.
Your
My
house
house
is outside.
Everything in the world
That's a
is
great
outside.
observation, but you're inside.
Come on, Tom.
God almighty.
Trust the science, Tom. Everything in the world is outside.
What do you think DiBenedetto really thinks?
That's
Says, I went to
awesome.
West Lincoln and met this crazy guy named Terry. Y'all ever met this guy?
Terry, why didn't you ask him to come on the show? Thomas,
You can't.
Terry and
You
Thomas.
cannot. You can't.
Huh?
I told you that. I sent you an email.
I didn't read it.
Did you not? I did. I sent you an email.
He
I told
didn't. He didn't accept it.
Well, no.
I haven't
Here's the
opened it.
deal.
I haven't opened it. I haven't opened it.
I'm talking about text.
Just to finish this off about Matt, he is available just after Daytona because he's booked right now.
Right,
you
right.
know, with everything he's
Oh,
doing.
yeah. Okay.
But I sent you an email how we can get in touch with him, and he'd be
That'd be
more
awesome.
than happy.
That'd be
to
awesome.
come
That would be
here.
awesome.
So there you go.
Good deal. All right. So I'm not finding. I'm trying to find somewhere, Terry, where it says if who's going to be the Cowboys kicker. It said if he struggles Thursday or
it's
Friday.
the same guy. It's we staying with Mario.
So Mars going to
Yeah,
kick.
I mean we're staying with him because I mean you guys you can't take a guy who only missed 3 field goals all year long and all of a sudden say, buddy, you're banned.
Yeah, you can.
You know.
They get the yips.
Let me
It's kind
ask
of like
you-
a golf swing.
Let me ask you this,
I
Terry.
mean, even Calvin's calling me saying, "Have you checked how he's lining up?"
You know who they're going to sign? Ricky Rubio.
If they,
Yeah,
if
Ricky
they,
Rubio does.
yeah.
but let me ask you this: if they would have lost, would they have cut him?
Oh, he's done. He would have been done.
Or if it had been like
Absolutely.
if it had been like a 2-point game and they won, would they have cut him?
Probably.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
all circumstantial.
I mean,
Like,
right now. I mean,
does
you
he-
know, don't get me wrong now, Kevin.
Well,
I'm
we
sitting
scored
there.
50. We're not going to cut him now.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, just don't say nothing about nothing to anybody. So I'm sitting there, not even got my phone near me or nothing. I'm just watching the game. And I'm sitting there when it's 24-0. I'm like, we still got Tom Brady in this thing. I mean, that's how I'm thinking.
Oh, you should have been like
It's
that.
only
I mean,
3 touchdowns. When we should be up 28-0, 4 touchdowns, we're only up 3.
If you're up 24-0, I think you're good.
No, that's 3 touchdowns and 2 points, Tom.
They ain't Tom Brady couldn't.
Tom, I got some
Tom
great
Brady
news.
barely completed 3 passes in that first
Well, that's
half.
right. He threw a lot of them in the
Tom,
ground
I got
because
great
he was
news.
scared.
you can bet on how many missed extra points Mar will have this weekend.
There you go.
It's plus 250 to miss an extra point.
There you go. 134 out of 144.
And he's missed 5 in a row.
Yeah, that's 4. He missed 4.
It was from the last
4 or
game.
5. He missed 5 total. Yeah. But now you think of it, 134 out of 144. Now he missed 5 of them
in a row.
Right then. So he had only missed 5 in his whole career. So you don't just cut the guy. I mean, I was in.
Now, let me ask you something then. If the Cowboys lose by 2 or 3 and he misses a kick or 2,
then he don't have a job.
No, I'm not asking that. I'm asking, does Mike McCarthy have a job then? Because he kept the kicker that just missed 5 field goals, and then he cost the NFC Championship
I don't
game.
think you can do that.
What the GM have to decide whether he?
That's Jerry Jones, Tom.
Well,
he'll suit up and go kick.
No, here's the
He's got to
deal.
fire somebody. Mike McCarthy. Why do you want this kicker that sucks?
Right. I'm just saying, where does the blame belong?
That's right.
I mean, you know,
if somebody's got to get blamed. If Mar misses kicks and they lose within that margin,
I think
he's on the line anyway.
McCarthy's on the line if we don't
So
make
if
the
your kicker-
NFC Championship at least.
So if your kicker is the reason after having last week's, he's got to be fired. I would think. Have to be. All right, let's pick these games.
Yep.
Jaguars and Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 9. It's going to be 40 degrees and raining tonight. I'm sure that bodes well.
It's great weather. That's why they call it misery. They get the worst weather.
Over-under's 53. Tickets low $70. Tommy.
Give me the Chiefs at home. I think the Jaguars kind of finished up what they had in their tank. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Terry?
It's the Chiefs. You can't ask them to do what they did last week. I mean, you're not going to get out front of that.
What about Dougie P going for 2 though? Remember the penalty?
Oh,
and he goes for 2.
Yeah.
And then they win. I tell you what, I got to give him some credit, man.
He's put Jacksonville where people are looking at him.
Yeah. Done a great
Zach?
job.
I'd love to see the Jaguars win, but Chiefs take this one.
Zach and Tom picked Jaguars last week.
They were home.
I believe I'll have the Chiefs in this one. I'm going by my stat sheet.
He's not going with the quarterback with long
y'all
hair.
stay with y'all stat sheet.
I'm going by my stat sheet. No, the quarterback long hair is not going to win Super Bowl, Tom. Just write it down. Easiest pick in the world.
Analytics is telling you.
Analytics.
That's deep analytics. I was doing analytics long before anybody else.
Analytics is crazy.
Giants, Eagles, 7.5 point favorites. Eagles over the G-Men again. Real quick against Minnesota and Detroit this year. Daniel Jones averaged 320 yards. Against all other teams, including the Eagles, he averaged 180 yards.
We've already done this.
So
we did
I'm not
this
doing it again.
What are you talking about?
I know.
Can I set this game up?
Yeah.
No, you
Can
did
you
right.
give me a second?
You
Go
did
ahead.
right.
The same
You did
people might
right.
not be listening this second that was last time. All right. The Giants are at the Eagles. Hurts is back. They've only played once this year against each other, fully loaded. Eagles won 48, I think 22 in that game about 6 weeks ago. NFC, they know each other. 3 of the 4 NFC East teams are in this final. Of course, this is one of the wild card teams. Zach, how do you see this one going with the G-Men and the Eagles?
I'm going to go with the G-Men.
Any particular reason?
Because he didn't listen to a word you just said.
I heard what he said. I heard what he said. It's 48-22. I just think this Giants team's. I like Barkley and Daniel Jones played good last week, and I don't trust Jalen Hurts.
Why?
I don't know if he's
Nobody
healthy.
does.
I don't know if he's healthy.
He's played
I
pretty
just
well.
don't know if he's healthy.
Has he?
He ain't, he's had an
Yeah,
extra
I
week to
remember
rest.
when the game that they had to win, he was in there, and they played some backup that the Giants had in there, and they only beat them 22-15.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I think
they had all
Giants
their
win this game.
starters.
The backup threw for 350
Yeah,
yards.
well, that's what I'm talking about. But he had all their starters in there.
Were the Eagles the number 1 seed?
Yes.
Yeah. And
So what are
Hurts
you
had to
talking
play. Hurts had to play the last game for them to get it because they thought Dallas was going to take it from them if they lost.
So, So you picking the Giants?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
I sure am.
All right. Well, you just lost.
Because right there is another reason
Robbie's
that
listening.
the Giants just beat Minnesota because Minnesota had to kick some 60-yard field goal, and then they just played each other without all their starters. The Giants did, not in the game, and they almost beat them without all them guys playing. So, do you
Different
think the
mentality.
starter's coming back in? Yeah, it'll
It's
change.
different.
The Eagles have the number 3 offense. The Giants 12. The Eagles have number 6 offense. The Giants 10.
Defense, you mean?
Yeah, defense. The added together, Eagles are ranked a total of 11, and the Giants 34. In my setup, obviously, I'm going to Eagles. Tom,
Philly.
Kevin, and Tommy.
They're already. I tell you what, though, they're
Philly.
They're already making a big deal about the eats of this game. They're showing these big how many wings they're going to cook and all this stuff.
Now
they're getting excited because it's a big rivalry.
Right.
I thought this spread's a little high. I thought it'd be much closer, like 1, 2, 3 or something. Bills favored by 5.5 right now. It's kind of scaring me there. Over the Bengals at home, $134 for a ticket, 33 degrees. Over and under is 49 in New York. So no big super snowstorm, but it's going to be cold.
They've actually had some decent weather. Another system's going to move in Sunday, but last week it was cold and sunny, about 35 degrees.
Rankings, Bills are the number 1 overall team in our rankings. They're 2 in offense and defense. Bengals are 6 in offense, 5 in defense. Pretty good teams here, Tom.
Yeah, they are. And I like Cincinnati, but I just think the Bills at home would be too much.
Zachary.
Wasn't impressed with the Bills last week. About lost the game to Miami. Miami would have possibly won that game if their coach could handle the time clock. So I'm going with Cincinnati.
I'm going Bills. I'm sticking to my standings, but gosh almighty, I would not. Man, the Bengals, they've just been surprised. I bet against them all year last year, and they kept winning.
It won't surprise me if the Bengals. I think the Bills will win, but I won't be shocked.
I'm worried
if
the
the
Bills
Bengals
might
do.
choke this one. All right. Historically, 3 of the 4 home teams win in this round, folks. So there always is one upset. So feel free to pick an upset for you folks. I think Terry's picking this next one. Terry's going 2 upsets.
How come I didn't get to pick his last?
Oh, did you not pick this one yet?
No.
I'm sorry. Hey,
See, I mean, every now
it's
and
like
then
it's
you got
because
to
we're
ask
biased.
us.
It's not that we're biased. We forget about you, Terry.
Yeah, that's
Just
what
got to
I'm
make
saying.
sure. Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Okay, your mic's
Yeah,
on.
Turn it
okay. That's what I'm saying.
Turn Tom off.
But-
while Terry talks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tom. Be quiet. Here's the problem. Always the games when you get to the playoffs that you should lose that you did not. And last week was it for the Bills. That's why this week Bills win with ease.
I don't know if they win with ease.
All right. Cowboys and 49ers. Cowboys ranked 4th and 4th offense and defense. 49ers 5th in offense, number 1 overall in defense. What I call a Tony Romo clone almost. Matt Purdy's out there going against Dak Prescott. Prescott finally got a second playoff victory, Terry, after the kicker missed a few kicks there.
Yeah.
Played good against who'd y'all play? Oh, the Bucs.
1-14.
We
won.
14th best offense in the NFL. No, there was way better. No, they were like 30th in defense. Them and the Vikings. Anyway, 4-point spread in San Francisco. 56 degrees, gonna be lovely. Zachary, what you got here?
Is this a rematch of the 92 NFC Championship game?
One of them.
The last time Dallas won a home playoff road win on that one since this past week, I'm going with 49ers holding it home and Brock Purdy moving on.
Tommy?
Don't do it, Tommy.
You know you got
Don't
to,
do
Tom.
it.
Don't be
Don't
scared.
do it. We're talking about
Don't
the
be
Cowboys.
scared.
I watched the San Francisco game, and I wanted to see the kinks in the armor. And there was a few in the first half. Brock Purdy did not play well in the first half, but then he comes out. He's Joe frickin' Montana in the second half. This kid is like, I want to pick against this kid. Why? He's a rookie. You pick against a rookie in the playoffs. And Dallas has got the experienced quarterback and all that. And they got who's the defensive line? Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, can Purdy handle Parsons?
Rookies can win playoff games, not Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Playoff games,
it's just
not Super Bowls.
It's just really, this one's really hard, but I think I'm going 49ers. Going 49ers.
You did right.
I think I'm going 49ers, even though if Terry's Cowboys do win, I will not be surprised because they do have a good defense, Terry. I'll give it to you. They've got a good defense, and
Brock Purdy's Tony Romo.
Rookie quarterbacks against good defenses sometimes don't go well.
The last pick in the NFL usually is not going to win, and this is not Garoppolo.
Throw that out the window.
I don't care what it
the
is
window.
right now.
Well,
Purdy,
Tony Romo wasn't even drafted.
He's Tony Romo. He plays just
that's
like
Tony Romo. You know
this
what I'm
guy's
saying?
playing what? Have you watched the guy play?
Dak Prescott was drafted.
That got nothing to do
Purdy
with
is the
nothing.
last
in the
pick in
fourth
the pick.
round. He's a fourth-round pick.
Okay, so you're going to go with a rookie to beat a defense that Quinn's going to set up where he's going to be just like Tom Brady was last week, throwing it in the ground because he don't know where anybody's coming from.
You know the difference between Purdy.
he can move.
He can move, Terry. Watch the
So?
game. Terry.
So?
What do you mean so, Terry? That
mean,
opens
so?
up other things. They can do some run-pass
And-
option.
and
Well,
they
he
have-
can make plays with his
McCaffrey?
feet. He
And
can-
they have Debo, and they have Christian McCaffrey.
They got McCaffrey. They got Debo. They
George
got
Kittle.
Bosa on their
George
defensive
Kittle.
line.
Kittle.
Come on. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's just throw Kittle out in the middle of.
you can't just say
So,
that, Terry.
so you're going to
can't-
sit here. Let me see. What you saying the final score going to be?
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 24-20 game. I think it's going to.
Yeah,
be
it's going to be low.
Yeah, I think
because
it's gonna
neither
be
team's going to be able to do much against the other defense.
It's going to be tough.
And who's going to make the mistake? Purdy's going to make some because he's been so great all year long. And guess what? You're not jumping over here to get Garoppolo in the fourth quarter when the game's on the line
They
because
won't do
he's
that.
not there. He cannot play. So you can't go get him. It's up. He's not playing.
It may come down to the running game, Terry. Who's got a better running game?
You know,
Who's got, it may come down to the running. If this comes down to the running
McCaffrey's
game,
not the runner. He's
You're
not
crazy.
a runner.
You're telling me
McCaffrey's better out of the backfield with swing passes.
Do you watch football?
Yes, I watch football. They doing the same thing that
Pull up
Carolina
how many,
did.
How many rushing yards did
Same
McCaffrey have
thing.
last week?
It was like 120, 130 or something crazy.
Could somebody
I mean,
please
my
tell me?
God.
Could somebody please tell me how
Who
many
was you
rushing
playing?
yards? How many rushing yards did Christian
Who
McCaffrey
was you
have last
playing?
week?
119 on 15,
He had 119 yards rushing, and you just told me he's not a rusher.
on 15 carries.
15 carries. He ran all over him, Terry.
7.9
Who did they
yards.
play?
Terry, they played Seattle, but he had you just said he's not a rusher.
Who did they play?
It's like, what? You're out of here. You know
Purdy
what?
had
You actually
330
make
yards
you
and
make
3
some
touchdowns.
sense until
Yeah.
you start talking about the
Until
Dallas
you
Cowboys.
start talking about a guy that's
You
going
make-
to run the ball
you-
when Dallas's defense is not going to stop him.
My Super Bowl pick had 131.5 quarterback rating last game.
Terry,
Who's that?
you
Brock
make
Purdy.
you
Oh,
make
okay.
good points occasionally, but then when you
picked
talk
the
about the
rookie to win.
Cowboys,
They
you're
won
like
the Super Bowl.
delusional. You didn't answer the
All right.
question.
No,
if it
good
comes
God.
down to the answer the question. If
I
this
think
game
got the
comes
best
down to
team.
the running
That's not-
game,
I'm not picking
who's
a
got the
rookie.
advantage?
You know what's going to happen, Tom? It's going to be fourth
Won't answer
quarter.
the question.
No, it's going to be fourth quarter, and you're going to see a Tony Romo and Purdy that throws a pick when it shouldn't be there, and Dallas is going to pick it off. I'm going to tell you,
Look,
you're going to
there's
see.
the highlights right
I
there.
asked
Steve
him-
Young. Steve Young.
You're
I
going to
asked
see
1992 NFC
quarterback.
Championship game.
I just
Bateman.
want, for the record, I asked him if this comes down to running
Bateman
game,
to
who has the
Kelvin Martin.
advantage, and he talks about Brock Purdy throwing an interception in the fourth quarter. If it comes down to the running game, Terry, who's got the advantage?
Terry, this was the infamous "How about them Cowboys" game. By the way.
Oh, Lord.
Niners and Niners.
Look at
and
Jerry
And do you
Jones.
not think of another thing also when this game comes to who did Dallas lose to last year? That's another motivation factor.
All right,
Because
I'm done.
really, San Francisco should have never beat us last year. And
All
they
right.
had Garoppolo. Now you don't have Garoppolo.
Well, since you won't answer the question, just go ahead and pick. You know,
I've
we know
already
you have
took my
Dallas.
team. I took Cowboys.
Dallas. You know, because you're. What's the score going to be?
It's gonna be close.
Are they going to? They're not going to destroy.
No, it's not
Okay.
going to be a destroy game because it's both the teams have good defenses.
Dallas' new kicker this week.
Kevin, I'm exhausted from this conversation.
Oh,
I'm
So
exhausted.
who y'all got?
He's
Zach.
49ers.
They all take
49ers.
y'all all take the 49ers.
Well, Zach picked to win
I
the
want
Super Bowl.
everybody
I got
y'all
him in
to
the
take
Super-
the
I got him in the
49ers.
Super Bowl.
Cowboys kicker this week.
That's funny.
That's all you got to do.
Hey, Brent Pascoe's available.
All right, I think I'm done with the football.
Was that all the
Who
games
did
this
you
week?
pick, Kevin?
I said 49ers.
Did we get them all, Kevin? We got all the playoff teams. Okay.
All right, I think that's all the fun tweets. I think I've went through everything. The only other one, Tom, that I had is that I did have a compliment for you.
Me?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you're 1 in a million.
Oh, Lordy, you getting a compliment
He's
now.
1 in a million. Did you know that if you were in India, that would mean you were just like 1,300 people?
Did not know that.
Well, there you go. You're 1,300 people.
Nobody ever thinks about that. I want to be. You're 1 in a million. Well, there's a lot of people on Earth.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'm one out of 1,300. Just
If you're 1 in a million in America, there are 340 people just like you. Yep.
Just exactly like you.
And then you get the stupid stuff on your phone
Like
that
what?
just come in saying, "Did you know most of your ringtones are boring? Why don't you try changing?" What the crap? Who cares a crap about that phone when we got a show going on and somebody sends me some stupid text?
Well,
Probably because they quit listening to you, Terry.
just don't
You're
accept.
delusional.
Just don't accept the text.
I did not accept it.
Don't accept
Forget it. But you can read the first part of it, Jim.
Don't accept the text. We did real quick before we got here. Took the kids to see the Hornets this past week in Calvin. They played the Celtics. LaMelo Ball, Terry, in warm-ups. Okay, I probably saw him take 50 3-pointers.
I can believe that.
I didn't see him.
But
take,
now
I didn't see
they
him
said-
take a single 2-pointer. He sat out there for the 30 minutes of warm-ups, right? You know, they're out there playing the music. He sat out there and did all these little fancy dribbles and dribble around, spun by himself, shooting up 40-foot just bomb threes. Like if you saw your kid in the
He's
gym,
trying to be Curry.
if you saw your kid doing this at the gym, you'd be like, "What? Just get that move!
Yeah, shoot free throws.
Come on,
do
something."
layups.
I didn't see him shooting free throws. I didn't see him doing layups. I'm seriously. He sat there for 30 minutes, just as far as you could throw the basketball, shooting it. And honestly, I'm being real over this. The further away from the basket he got, the better he did, because his shot is not like a real jumper. He's got that kid.
He's got a
Him and
rainbow
Steph
jumper.
Curry got that little. Steph still shoots like a child.
He launches.
You got to remember, when he was in college, he was still at his kid body. So he never changed his shot growing up. And I try to tell people, like, shooting wise, there's a Steph Curry way where you push going up, and then there's the grown man way of Michael Jordan and LeBron. You shoot with your elbow in your hand. But these short guys, teach your kids to shoot like Steph, because you got to get your body weight behind it. That's how they shoot so far. That's not a real shot, Terry. They'd beat that. Somebody should beat that back in his. That's why you don't see him pull up with nobody in his face at the 3-point line. That's why he's got to back up 3 or 4 feet. Because you think he's going to shoot that over Bobo or anybody over 6'8"? I don't
if
like
you
the
have
shot.
Kevin
I don't like
Bingo,
the shot at all.
Bobo's been made.
That's it.
He has
Kevin Bingo, Washington quarterback.
What is
Bobo?
But nobody goes out there and guards
Pee Wee's Playhouse. It's the word of the day.
We got to make him Kevin Bingo.
But nobody, the other team, Terry, they don't even bother going out and guarding LaMelo when he's out there. Like, would you go out there and guard him? Or would you not want them to shoot that shot?
I bet Kenny Rogers could get a shot off over Bobo.
Celtics just let him shoot all their dumb shots.
And Jason Tatum, nobody can guard him.
No, he had 51. I tell you what,
51.
McDaniels got announced to be the starter. I said, I have no idea who that is. I watched the whole first half.
He played pretty good.
He had like 20 points. I didn't even know it.
For the Hornets?
I had no idea.
Sure
Terry.
did.
I didn't even know he had done it watching it. That's how like it just didn't happen. It was weird.
Because nobody expected him to do it. Everybody's looking for Melo.
No,
Melo.
God, it was the worst.
Melo.
It was the worst form of basketball. That's what we deserve. That's what the Hornets deserve. We deserve them.
Boston beat them back to back.
So 49ers by 20, Zach. We'll be back next Saturday.
I would say 49ers by 10.
On KTCBroadcasting.com.